It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Allen trying to poke it away, looking to double team him. Tiptoeing along. Now goes up, pulls up, jump shot. There it is. 50 points for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
How about that as the Suns get absolutely crushed last night against Oklahoma City? But we do have breaking news here at 101 trade deadline. Kevin Durant is not getting traded.
Staying, is he?
Unless something filters out.
They got a lot of calls.
Because things do happen after trade deadline.
Oh, yeah, they do.
You know, as long as the facts went in.
Yeah.
the facts. Waiting for that fax to come in. So, you know, I'm extremely disappointed today.
Yeah.
That everybody else in the Western Conference made some really big moves to improve their team.
Yes.
And all the Suns can say is they got rid of Nurkic, who wasn't even playing.
That's it.
Cody Martin? Tell me about him.
He's just a player. I mean, he's okay. He's an NBA player, but that's what he is. He's a player. He's Nick Richards, only in a forward body. He's a body. So that's what they got.
Out of the two centers, they didn't get anybody that really
they got nothing
to basically replace the talent of Nurkic.
No.
Whatsoever.
They got nothing.
You heard SGA yesterday. He put on a show. 50 points. Well, the Suns had 87. Think about that.
Isn't that amazing?
He's my pick, or
MVP,
pretty close to, you know. But, again, the Phoenix Suns had a third quarter that we all love. 1 for 13 field goal, 0 for 5 three-pointers, 8 turnovers, allowed 10 points of turnovers. They were out-rebounded 12-5. They were outscored 18-2 in the paint. Overall, 46-16 outscored. Another great third quarter.
Well, you look at the whole half. They outscored 79-46.
Yeah.
So what did Manning say in Saturday Night Live skit? So you want to lose?
They do.
I mean, you look at this, and, you know, the plus-minus thing, Jimmy, you talk about that a lot. There's not one plus in the plus-minus for the Suns.
Yeah.
That's
right.
The big fella shoots 40, plus 46. He had more plus than they had minus in the game. And I think the thing that was really, you know, we sound embarrassed. He was pretty much toying with the Suns. He was having a blast,
having a great
fun.
time. Yep.
Nobody was going to, you know, defense him. He was going to the rack. They were that was basically street ball for Oklahoma City, just watching this Suns team, a very downtrodden Suns team who's now lost 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you make no moves of substance to go ahead at the trade deadline. And, folks, the Suns were doing everything they could to try and trade Kevin Durant, which tells you that something's amiss with this team. I think Matt Ishbia has said we got to get something straightened out, or we're going to just have to cruise and hopefully make the play-in.
Multiple reports, one in particular from CBS, had said that Kevin Durant doesn't want to go to Golden State, and that he actually called Steph Curry to tell him that. Why does the player have so much say in that sport? Of the 4 major sports, the NBA is so ran by their players that I'm at Ishbia. I'm writing the checks. I'm signing the checks. If I want to trade him to another team, I don't care where I'm trading him. I want Jimmy Butler, if that's who we wanted, which we all know now as a Golden State Warrior. But hey, the West got better with the exception of Suns.
Everybody in the West. Portland didn't do anything, but Portland is loaded with young talent, and they are a team on the rise. You saw what San Antonio went and did. Look at Valanciunas is now in Sacramento. So poor Nick Richards, where a couple of teams in the West, he didn't have to play against a legitimate center. Uh-oh, Nick Richards' worst nightmare. DeAndre Ayton, you're going to have to play against him again. You're going to have to play against Valanciunas. Now you're going to have to play against Mark Williams with the Los Angeles Lakers.
So here you are, Steph Curry. You got Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. Are you going to have therapy sessions once a week to make sure everybody's okay? So Steph's got to now be the adult in the room.
He does.
He's just hoping and praying, Lord, please let these guys be cooperative. the next 2 years. Let these guys please, stay on par, and let's just hopefully get back to where we were. Curry, is just like, okay, let's go make it happen. But he's going to have to be the adult in that room for this Warriors team.
So how about being an adult in the Suns locker room? There's some rumblings that the locker room is toxic. And we have some sound from ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, who's reporting that. And here it is.
Yeah, the word I would use, he said glum, I'll use toxic. Wow. like that shoot around yesterday I heard was very awkward, very weird in Oklahoma City because everybody was on pins and needles wondering what they were going to do. And I think now you have this reset where how do you move forward as a team when there was a clear mandate here, like they have to do something. And if they're not able to get anything done, which is, as we say, you talked about it in the open, there's aprons, there's all this stuff. I mean, it's really hard to do something. And the thing they were trying to do did not come to fruition because Kevin Durant said no. It's hard to move forward, and that's where they're left.
Didn't they go through this last year too?
They did.
And they hinted that KD wasn't happy with Viola and all the things that they were not doing. So maybe Vogel, I'm sorry. Maybe
Viola.
Frank Viola.
Yeah.
He's thinking of a pitcher,
What?
a former pitcher.
Torey Lovello?
It's
going to be one of those shows, folks.
No, I'm good.
10 and 2, seatbelt on.
You never know. But, this went down last year, too. So
I don't
maybe
remember
that's
it.
why I do.
I remember rumblings.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't remember it nationally where Ramona Shelburne is saying that the locker room is toxic. That's pretty big, Manuch. That's a lot bigger than I think what we may have heard locally.
Well, and I think the one thing there is maybe that's why, and I don't know who the culprit is or who the issues are with. So maybe that's why they're trying so hard to get rid of KD. They were trying hard. That being the Suns get rid of Kevin Durant.
I don't know if they were trying that hard, Manuch, because it was quiet until 48 hours ago. There was no talk of Kevin Durant being traded.
Yeah.
That just happened over the last couple weeks because I think, or a couple days because of what happened in the league in all the trades.
But the last couple of days, the phone lines reportedly have been ringing off the hook. The Suns have tried very diligently to try and make the trade.
Yeah, but they weren't getting what they wanted for him.
Yeah.
So, you got to have a dance partner. They did not have a dance partner. And one of the things that I find really interesting to Roc's comment about the toxic environment, you have a guy on your roster who has a no-trade clause, makes $50 million a year, and he tells you yes or no. And he just kept saying no,
it's BS.
no. That goes to your point right there.
Here's Shams on KD getting calls, or the Suns, I should say, getting
calls.
calls
Are continuing to pour in. One thing I do want to clarify, Kevin Durant has not requested a trade, and it's my understanding most of all of these conversations this week have been somewhat blindsiding.
Somewhat blindsiding KD. There's, people are going, hey, if you're looking to trade him, let's run this up the flagpole. You can imagine guys calling him and saying, what about this, and this? And maybe KD might be caught off guard. About a week ago, when the Davis Doncic thing happened, he's like, well, everybody's vulnerable. Anybody can be traded at any particular time.
If I'm KD, I'm pissed because you came here, you were playing really good basketball, averaging 27 a game for this team, and your name was not mentioned at all until, as what Roc said, just the last couple of days.
2 minutes.
But okay,
well, that we know of.
Scores, so he's scoring. He's playing really well.
He is.
But it's a team sport. If you're not winning,
I get
you
it.
could score 40 points a game, but if this team sucks, it reminds me of like World B. Free or George Gervin. These guys used to put up unbelievable numbers, but the teams weren't winning.
That's correct.
And here we are, and the Suns team's the same. And, they got what Utah Jazz tomorrow night. Utah's, in a rebuild.
They are.
But I wouldn't be surprised, even though the Suns are favored by 10.5 right now, which that number could go up.
Minute and a half.
We could see Utah coming in and winning.
Good.
Because if this locker room is as toxic as being reported, man, it's going to be a tough last 4 months of this NBA season for the Suns.
If you can find the professionalism and ignore that be a very toxic locker room, you still got to go out and play the game. There's been many teams that have had toxic locker rooms, guys that get along, but they went out on the field and they won because they knew what the task at hand was to win the game, win the playoffs. I can think of several teams, the Yankees teams, go back to the Oakland
A's,
even the New York Giants, when they had some issues there in that locker room. There's a lot of that goes on, but I think that they've got to find a way to try to win these games and realize the bottom line is if they could look to try to trade KD when the season's over, heads up, guys, they make wholesale changes on top of it.
Who's worse right now in the Western Conference after a flurry of deals that took place? Portland on the rise, okay. You've got the San Antonio Spurs who did their deal with DeAndre Fox. They're on the rise. New Orleans is the only team in the West right now that is in the basement. New Orleans Pelicans, that's it. And then the Suns are right there next to them. That's the way I see it because nothing took place for them.
So you don't think any magic dust after the All-Star break?
No, I'm not
cure
buying
this.
I'm not buying
I'm
into
not
magic
either.
dust.
Yeah, I'm not either. It's going to be a long next couple of months to see where they
will
end up.
be.
You got you mentioned, Rock, Utah tomorrow night and then Denver on Saturday night, right behind it. Another back-to-back. So, all right, Suns, you made your bed. You got to go ahead and sleep in it. Hopefully you can get to the play-in situation.
We're outside the patio, Twin Peaks in Tempe Marketplace. If you're living out down here and you're looking for a place for the Super Bowl, they're having their big Super Bowl party here. Free fried chips and queso bounce back if you come into here on Sunday with a $25 purchase. So that's a good deal. So they're giving some free food to come out and watch the game on Sunday here at Twin Peaks or any of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations. Coming up, Joe Montana thinks Brock Purdy should get paid. You'll hear that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
Life's a sprint, and you
Doors open at 2 p.m. First come, first serve entry, and no purchase necessary. Just be 21 or older. Don't miss the only big game watch party where you can win cash just for watching the game. We have the best of it all. Weco Park Casino Resort.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for billiards, poker, and trivia. And the Roc and Manuch Amber on tap. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, daily specials, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Amber poured by Dos Equis. Arena Sports Grill open daily until 2 a.m. For their daily specials, head to arenasportsgrills.com. That's Arena Sports Grill in North Scottsdale.
Looking for the perfect destination before and after the WM Open? Welcome to Putting World, the ultimate 18-hole indoor putting course designed to delight golf enthusiasts of all levels. Putting World is your home all week during the WM Open. Free shuttle daily, live music, food and drink specials, and so much more. Putting World promises an unforgettable experience. Visit them at the Scottsdale Promenade, or to learn more, go to puttingworld.com. That's puttingworld.com.
It's Thursday, and welcome to Lodge Mentality. The guys are live at Twin Peaks Tempe, located in the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frothed.
Making Mike's Hot here.
Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Hey, we're out here at Twin Peaks Tempe at all 5 locations. Thursdays are $6.50 Blue Moons, $6 Coors Lights, and $6.50 Mother Road Tower IPAs. One of my favorites. If you've never had it, try it. They also do $8 Mules, the classic, the Irish, the Kentucky, all here at Twin Peaks. As you still got the combo meals going until 3 o'clock, happy hour at 3 o'clock, so check that out. Some sounds from the evening here on ESPN 620. We will start with Joe Montana feels that Brock Purdy should get paid.
All I can say is I can show you a lot of guys out there that are getting paid a lot more than he is, and he's produced a lot more than they have by far. And so I say, yeah, I mean, you have to pay him. Everybody struggles. Everybody has those years, and he just happened to have that this year, and unfortunately for him with the contract. And that's the only question, I think. If he doesn't struggle like that, even if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, people will feel more comfortable with it. But I think there are a lot of guys out there getting paid a lot of money that haven't done anywhere near what he's produced.
He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Brock Purdy doesn't deserve to get paid. He doesn't want anything.
Are you kidding me?
So overrated.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm kidding. Manuch, by the way, if you're just tuning in, Manuch has been training Brock Purdy since he was in diapers. So
give or take.
Brock gives all the credit to his coach here, Dan Manucci.
He's getting a piece of that contract.
Oh,
better.
Don't I wish?
I mean, he needs to get something. Like, I mean, and I know Brock's parents listen to the program. You know, if you're listening, Mr. and Mrs. Purdy, you know, throw him a bone. Get him a $100 gift card from Twin Peaks, something. But he needs something so he can say he got paid. Doesn't matter what the number is.
Yes, right.
Hey, did you get a piece of the success of Brock Purdy? And you could say yes. Because here's the deal, Mr. and Mrs. Brock Purdy. You don't need to give him the money. He just needs to know that he got a piece because it's going to open more doors. So the other moms and dads that are listening to the show right now that think they got the next Brock Purdy here in Phoenix, they can send him to the quarterback school with Dan Manucci.
Thank you, Rock. Can I hire you as my publicist?
I'm already your publicist.
Yeah, you are my publicist.
That's why it's Roc and Manuch.
You know what?
With Jimmy B.
You wonder, everybody's like, is he 45, 50 million a year? Brock is the kind of guy that would say, look, whatever's fair market value. And he's also the kind of guy that said, look, hopefully fair market value, but leave some on the table for other guys who get paid. I mean, he's like that. He just he wants to make sure they have success. With Brock Purdy, it's the team first, the team first, the team first. And that's just the way he is. And he wants to make sure this team has success. We had a chance to talk to him after the Cardinals game, and his biggest thing is, hey, look, I want to get this done, get back to working out, get the guys back. Let's kind of flush this year out with all the injuries and all the things that have happened, and let's just get back to playing ball. And that's his attitude is just such a organic attitude as far as a quarterback. Let's just get back to winning football games. Let the contracts take care of themselves, and let's move on from here.
So are you saying that he has some Tom Brady in him? Brady never took all the big money?
I think he does. I mean, his focus is winning football games, guys.
That was Brady.
I mean, he wants to win. He wants to win. He wants to win. And you know what? He knows he'll get fair market value. He's not worried about it.
Yeah.
He just said, hey, I'm not worried about it. It'll take care of itself. He did say the sooner the better, though. So I think in his mind, he really liked to get this thing taken care of, and so they could go into OTAs and minicamp with this behind
He doesn't
him.
want to drag it on.
We got some more sound from another quarterback that's won a couple Super Bowls. Here's Eli Manning on who has the pressure in this game between the Chiefs and Eagles.
I think all the pressure is on Kansas City. And I think, we kind of saw that when we played New England in 2007, when they were going for the undefeated, season. All the pressure is on them. We were the underdog by the points. We were it was just, hey, let's just go play our game. And I think that's probably the message to the Eagles. We've been good all season, especially, they got off to a little slow start, but after that, I mean, they've played great football all year long, and let's just go play our game.
I've never really seen the Chiefs pressurized as if he's hitting. I remember the only time they lost the Super Bowl to Tampa was their two tackles were out of the game. And Patrick Mahomes was running for his life the entire game.
He was.
But, I mean, in pressure-packed games, Andy Reid has handled everything to the T with Pat Mahomes as his quarterback. So when they say who's got the most pressure, I think that they've, Kansas City's been there and done that. Eagles have been there and done that. it's all a matter of who turns the ball over, who doesn't, who can make the stops when they have to, and who's that final drive. And I really believe in this game, whoever has the ball last will probably be the winner of this football game.
Let me ask you this question because Eli Manning's name is on the voting ballot for Hall of Fame. Won 2 Super Bowls. He was MVP in both of those Super Bowls, and people are bitching online that he shouldn't get in.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I do not understand the numbers. If you look at his numbers, his consistency throughout the years, even with bad teams.
Yes, and he was on some bad teams.
He was on some bad teams, and to come through on the wild card round, the 1 year they won the Super Bowl, beat the Patriots, and some of the clutch throws that he made to get them to the Super Bowls and win those Super Bowls.
There are a lot of people out there that'll make a case that Eli deserves it more than Peyton.
Well,
because if you look at those numbers, he completed like 58% of his passes.
He did.
I mean, he had huge numbers when it came to passing efficiency and accuracy. So I think that plays into it a lot. And he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, which
he matches
not
his
easy
brother
to do.
Yeah, he matches his brother from that standpoint. I mean, Peyton went to 3, 1, 2.
1, 2.
And I think, when you look at Eli, he's more into the radar as far as his greatness in Hall of Fame, where Peyton was pretty much out there. Omaha. The numbers were gaudy numbers as far as
they were
throwing. And Eli was very efficient, very effective in winning the Super Bowls or taking those teams to the titles. And you remember there were some down years with the Giants, some of the teams that he had. And he always he was consistent in the fact that he was always there. I think he was hardly ever injured. But he stood in there with some really bad teams and had some decent numbers.
But it's a great debate. It's getting pretty hot today in regards to does he or does he not belong into the Hall of Fame. We will find out sooner than later. All right, let's switch to the NBA. Here's my favorite. He's right up there with Tom Brady, Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr did have a good point here. He feels that the NBA trade deadline should be around the All-Star break because I'll let you hear. We can discuss after this cut.
The league should consider making the trade deadline, at the All-Star break, just so you don't have to face these games where guys are getting traded half an hour before and a game, and you're trying to process the emotions and trying to win a game. I don't know if it's possible, but it'd be great if we could move it back to or make the last couple of days, before the deadline, like off day. I don't know how to do it, but these are tough days for sure.
I think the NFL would love it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They stole the limelight for the whole week of the Super Bowl.
They really did.
They stole the limelight.
Just kicked it.
You turn on these television shows on FS1 and ESPN and ESPN2, the Stephen A's and, the Pat McAfee's. They're not talking 24/7 NFL Super Bowl. They're talking about the NBA trade deadline.
Yes.
And then for the saga between Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat to go to where it did, them trading him to the Warriors, and then he is extending his contract to $120 million or whatever it was. Where there was all this talk that he's not going to extend $121 million. But he still did. That's just crazy how these reports go up and down, and it's such a roller coaster.
Wasn't the philosophy, I read this for the trade deadline now, so guys that got traded could go get acclimated during the All-Star break and be ready to go with that team, if not before, after the All-Star break.
It wasn't that so much as it is everything is on pause.
Right.
And so if you get traded during that time, it's probably much easier on the player because nobody else is around at that time. You can kind of, figure it out, and you don't have everybody after you because players on your team have gone to the All-Star game. I think that's probably what Kerr was thinking about. Look, he really liked Andrew Wiggins, and Wiggins was part of that deal. And he even said so. He's one of my favorite players ever to coach. So I think that cut him a little bit to the quick. And I think probably that's why he came up with that statement.
It's kind of a double-edged sword. Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
That's correct.
So for some coaches, they like it because we can adjust.
Yeah.
I don't have any guys. I may have one or two guys or maybe one I can take that 4 or 5 days off and get my team ready with the new players,
Yep.
and kind of take it. Then you got a guy like Steve Kerr going, you know what, we're pretty successful every year. To throw this monkey wrench into the chain here is going to hurt us more so. So I don't know. It's just kind of like, it makes a great valid point, but I think for a lot of coaches, they want it now so they can adjust after the All-Star break, prior to.
It makes too much sense. Do it during the All-Star break.
I think for a lot of us football guys, let's talk Super Bowl the whole week and then some.
You wish the 4 major sports could get on the same page, get the networks on the same page so they could kind of figure out a way not to have so much overlap.
Yes.
I think we all believe that the NBA should start during Christmas, right? Let the NFL and college football have from, maybe September.
Sure.
I still think Major League Baseball needs to kind of move back a little bit. Maybe they start a little later, but they also end, right around
November,
mid-September, and in that last World Series game, the Game 7 would be the first of the week of October,
right?
And just stick there. But and then hockey, same thing. They can adjust. But I just think it's getting so out of hand where there's so much overlap. It makes it so difficult to be a fan, to be able to watch it.
It's oversaturated. The markets are oversaturated. I mean, football for me, 24/7, 365. NBA, okay, since if you're Suns fan, you're watching, but a lot of fans aren't watching until that college season's winding down around Christmas time. And NFL, you could do it 24/7, 365, which they do.
24/7 Sports, they have ranked Arizona State football at number 54 in terms of overall class ranking with 23 commits.
Clear.
Now, they currently sit at 11 in Big 12 behind Texas Tech, Colorado, TCU, Baylor, Kansas State, Utah, West Virginia, UCF, Houston, and Iowa State. So, Charlie Regal will join us next. We'll talk about that as well as some of the high school guys that have committed. I believe, I didn't see it, I didn't hear it. I think yesterday was a signing day, right?
Yes, it was.
Or was it Tuesday? Was it Tuesday?
It was yesterday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, yesterday.
All right. Charlie Regal's next, right here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Twin Peaks.
ESPN Sports Update, sponsored by the Big Game at Weekapaw Casino Resort. I'm Jackson Groff. The NBA trade deadline just concluded at 1 p.m. Kevin Durant will remain on the Suns this season, but one Sun was traded prior to the deadline. Jusuf Nurkic sent to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Serbian guard Vasila Micic and small forward Cody Martin, alongside a 2026 second-round pick in exchange for the 30-year-old center and a 2026 first-round selection. Lock in your plans to join us for the Big Game at Weekapaw Casino Resort February 9th this Sunday. Win cash with our $25 Squares games, $100 prop bets in the kickoff challenge that can cash you the jackpot and more. We're also giving away 4 big screen TVs. That's this Sunday, Weekapaw Casino Resort. More info, go to thebiggamewatchparty.com.
How about that, Jackson?
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolytes your body craves, but without the artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores, Cocoa 5, active hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame Margarita. Try it at your local lodge today.
In a recent survey, when people were asked who they thought the best personal injury attorney in Arizona was, more than 9 out of 10 people chose Lerner and Rowe. In fact, Lerner and Rowe has been voted best personal injury attorney in Arizona for the past 9 years. Our experience, reputation, and proven results have made it possible for us to recover billions of dollars for over 150,000 injured people. At Lerner and Rowe, getting you the best result is what we do best. Hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle wreck and need a check? Call us today.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Coach Rego on the horn.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are now here.
Good.
Phoenix's home for the
Yep, he's on the horn.
Sports. Yeah. Now on ESPN 620 with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, courtesy of the Crest Insurance Group. Combine your home and auto for big savings today. Head to crestins.com. Now let's talk Arizona State football.
Mics are hot.
Charlie Ray.
All right, Coach Regal joins us now on the right to the guest line as we're out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe Marketplace. And, Coach, I want to start with the Big 12 schedule that came out. It was good to see, unlike last season, no back-to-back road games. Those aren't easy to do. And a very good schedule. I mean, for fans to be able to see, TCU here, Texas Tech, Houston, West Virginia, and, of course, Arizona. It's a really good schedule. How great is this now? Now you're going into your second year with the Big 12, now that we're really starting to soak in the Big 12 now here in Tempe and in Phoenix.
No doubt. First of all, afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. I think, one, familiarity, right, is that we're starting to get an idea after playing a year in the league of what it is, what it looks like, tastes like, smells like. So that certainly helps us. And then, as you pointed out, I think, the home games are very conducive for us as well. You can't not be excited about the schedule this coming year for the Sun Devils for sure.
Charlie, what is it about the Big 12 that you have a better feeling for going into the second year of the Big 12?
Well, I just think, when you do this, right, it's everything. It's all encompassing from the venues. It matters. Like, hey, if I'm going to X school in the Pac-12, it's going to be sold out, or it's not, and the crowd's not going to be a factor. It sounds like a little thing, but the size of the locker room, having, hey, the Rose Bowl's got one of the best locker rooms in the country. The players are going to be able to stretch out and be comfortable. It's all the things that you don't see that people probably don't take into account, but they matter. And so I just think, having a year under our belt, and then obviously the style of play, the level of play, I think all of those things factor in. But again, it allows us some familiarity with the league, and obviously having success after the first year, hoping to build on that with those things.
But, Coach, the road schedule is tough. At Iowa State, at Utah, you know how hard that is. SEC territory in Starkville with Mississippi State. Throw in Baylor. They're not an easy team. And then I don't know what's going on in Colorado, but what a tough road schedule. But that's a great challenge for your team and for your staff.
No doubt. And I think, with the veterans, it's it's nice to know that we're going to play that with a veteran group. You know what I mean? Like, if this was flipped and that schedule was this year, you'd be like, ooh, young group trying to figure it out. Who's their quarterback? You know. But now with the veteran team, hey man, we should be able to go into those places and have success. They're not easy, and no road game is easy, obviously. But as you mentioned, Utah, obviously beating them at home, they're going to be fired up to play us. I'm sure Iowa State will be waiting and circling that date on the calendar. I think we go to Baylor, and then as you mentioned, into Starkville. So yeah, we've certainly got a challenge on our hands. But you know, this is if there's a challenge that's presented, this is the group that I want to take it on with.
But Charlie, I got to imagine you're going into Manhattan, Kansas, and whooping up on my Cats. Matter of fact, we're not even on the damn schedule this year because you scared us off the schedule. But I mean, that had to bode so well to Roc's point that you on the road and you win in Manhattan, Kansas, at Kansas State. That's a great carryover to understand what it takes to win on the road at Iowa State, Utah, etc.
Well, and you know this, and I told you this when we got done playing that game, and that's as tough a place there is in the country to play. We were able to keep the fans out of the game by how we played, but yes, I mean that is definitely a cornerstone to build on. Obviously, new year, new set of aspirations and goals, but certainly to understand that we've gone into venues such as the one in Manhattan and played well, that we can do it with this group. And so I think they'll be ready for the challenge.
But let's be honest, though. I mean, it's not the hardest place to play. Come on, Coach. I mean, the ride's probably tough as the yellow school buses they pick you up on the tarmac, and you know the back roads to get to the stadium, and you know you get Domino's, probably pizza for your field. I mean, there's nothing there, right? I mean, that's why you had no fans there.
I'm still in search of the statue. You know,
you just sitting at it's probably sitting at the
second time to see if I can find it.
Well, if you would have went to Dairy Queen, you know, it's probably at the Dairy Queen.
Hibachi Hut. Didn't you just follow the yellow brick road all the way to the stadium there, Coach?
Hey, Charlie. Yep. Hey, Charlie, my question is about your QB and Sam Levitt. He's getting an awful lot of pub now nationally, saying that he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in college football. Is Arizona State, is Sam, are you and the coaching staff prepared how to handle all of that national pub if indeed your team is playing well and he starts off really fast?
I think that's going to be probably the telltale for our season, to be honest with you. You know, obviously losing Cam and what that did to our program, you know, in terms of him moving on and having to replace him. I've said this. I don't think you replace a young man like that. He's a once-in-a-generational type of player. So then, you know, in order for us, to elevate our game, that has to start with the quarterback. And I think that's, you know, with, what do they say? What's the expression? For whom much is given, much is expected.
There you go.
You know, and I think that's where Sam sits right now. And, you know, I think that, again, will be the telltale for our season and how Sam goes, the Sun Devils will go.
Coach, are you disappointed that signing day in February is not like it used to be?
I tell you, it's so weird. I mean, we were actually off this week. We are off, I should say. And so it's like we actually signed one young man. And it's just completely different. You know, basically we signed our class in December, and so it's just, again, it's what we've talked about all year, the game of college football, the makeup of it, how it goes about, rules, regulations, all of that is changing in real time, and it's just something that you have to adapt and adjust to.
Coach, as I look at all the recruits that you guys have had signed, the one kid that stood out yesterday, this Grayson Rigdon, young man out of Columbus, Texas, 5'11", 185, maybe the next coming of a Christian McCaffrey, smaller version of Cam Scatteraboo, et cetera. Young man that played 6-man football 2 years ago, played 11-man this year, and he stood out and stood up during the 11-man and is one of those prize catchers for ASU.
Not only that, how about this stat line? He averages 40 points a game playing basketball.
Yes, saw that.
Wow.
Averages 40 points a game. Let that sink in for a minute. This kid's a tremendous athlete, and as you mentioned, a 6-man, playing 6-man football, moved to Columbus to play 11-man, was, I believe, on his way to Wyoming, and we were able to get him, and we really think that he's going to be a special player for us in the future.
And then looking at all the other recruits as far as the Arizona kids, the kid I really followed, and Uriah Nalams out at Santan Valley, 6'4", 196, small school young man, but big time player.
Absolutely, mid-year enrollee, so he's here with us now. Just a tremendous athlete, and that's one of those that if people that recruit the Valley.
1 minute.
Most people, I should say, don't go to Santan. They don't. This is one that we found, and we really thought he was a tremendous athlete, and think that he has a chance to be special.
Coach, as always, buddy, enjoy your time off. Are you at 16 right now, or where are you at?
Well, I'm actually watching the boys tee off on one as the suite for my good friends at Crest Insurance. By the way, I'd just like to throw that in. Shout out to the boys. Hosting me out here today. It is absolutely beautiful. When you called me, I thought I was going to give you a little correspondence from the golf report. But anyway, boys, I'm out here, and the rest of the day it is on. Go Devils!
So wait. So if I get out there, I'm not going to see you. I'll see a clone, right? It won't be you. It'll be your twin brother.
I'm in nondescript clothing. And, really hard, you know where to find me.
You got it, Coach. Thanks, buddy. Have fun. That's Charlie Regal joining us. ASU assistant head coach,
nondescript,
#1 at Waste Management Open. That's where he's at. Hey, it's your chance to win some tickets. The listener appreciation ticket giveaway Thursday. We do it every Thursday. Today we got Harlem Globetrotter tickets, lower level for Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale. So you'll have an opportunity coming up here in just a moment. We're out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. Listen to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on ESPN 20 and on FM at 98.7 HD2.
It's time for another Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B listener appreciation giveaway. Now let's give some tickets away. Be the sixth caller at 602-230-0620 and you win. That's 602-230-0620. That's 602-230-0620. Be the sixth caller at 602-230-0620 and you win. That's 602-230-0620. And thank you for making
coming to you now.
And 620's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B part of your day.
New year, new global tour, new challenges, same Globetrotters you love. Friday, February 21st at Desert Diamond Arena. So we'll give a pair of tickets away right now for that. So we'll do it again next week. We are out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe, and we are here till 4 o'clock. And we're pretty excited that we've been doing a contest with Twin Peaks, Coors Light, Blue Moon, our fantastic giveaway, and we will announce our winner at 3:45 today, and he will be here. So if you want to get autographs or you want to see if he wants to sell some of that stuff that's in that big package with the Traeger grill and the Blackstone grill and everything else that's in there, the pizza oven. So I told him, I said, I hope you got a big enough car. I mean, it fit in my truck, so we'll see. He'll be here a little bit later. Congrats goes out to Ryan Day. He agreed to a new contract today that'll run through 2031. It's going to pay him $12.5 million a year. So he will be number 2, right behind Georgia's Kirby Smart, who's at $13 million. So you look at Day, you look at Smart, and then you look at Clemson's Dabo Sweeney. They're the only other active coaches that have won titles. Sweeney has been the second highest paid coach at $11 million. So now he drops to 3. But there you have Ryan Day. They took care of him, national champion.
Plus
Ohio
$10 million a year for college coach. It's amazing. And hey, deservedly so. Those guys are packing stadiums and winning national titles. They're consistent year in and year out, and a lot of that has to be with their NIL and collective to keep them up there, except for Dabo, who's been doing it on the less likely side of NIL or collective money. But seems like he's made a little bit of a turn. He might be going toward that. But he had a hell of a year. They made a nice run
they did. Yeah.
without having a lot of the big money guys that are out there.
The Cole Klubnik kid, the quarterback, really kind of had a really nice year.
He did.
Second half of the season. He really came on.
Great coaching staff, great coaches.
Yeah.
They make the adjustments, and that's one thing that Dabo Sweeney's done. Bright guy that make the adjustments with the players they have. The old saying is, sometimes you just got to play with the cards at hand and deal with it, pardon the pun.
If you're flying out to the big game, Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, man, they're getting lucky with the weather, man. Jeez, it looks so nice out there as they're getting, anywhere from 75 to 80 degrees, or not 80, but close, just under 80 degrees. That's great.
Yep.
There's nothing better. You hear horror stories sometimes when the Super Bowls in certain cities. I've been fortunate enough to go to 8 of them, and, I remember the one in Atlanta many years ago. It was an ice storm, and you couldn't get around. It was just a nightmare, and all these people spending all this money to travel for 3-4 days, and if the weather doesn't cooperate, just makes it a bitch. It really does, to be able to, get around, and transportation, and you're in a city you don't know real well, and things are closed, things aren't open,
right.
And it's just a pain. So New Orleans, especially with what happened, unfortunately on New Year's Eve, it looks as though from what you can see on television, they got National Guard, and they have security on every corner.
Yes.
Every corner there's guys in uniform, and I think that's great. And, I think they're going to have a hell of a time, a hell of a game on Sunday.
It's when they had the Super Bowl at the Giant Stadium, the prediction was this storm was coming through.
That's correct.
It came the following day. They said if that would have hit before that Saturday or Super Bowl Sunday, it might have been postponed until they could shovel everything out of there. But it hit the following day, so they lucked out there. The ones in Detroit, Minnesota, being in domes, they lucked out there. But the irony of that Atlanta one was the Falcons were playing in Atlanta against Denver. The home crowd, the home team, and nobody could get around. Your point,
couldn't move.
Ice storms.
It was awful.
And then in Dallas, a few years ago, when AT&T opened, the ice storms they had there, and with a lot of the press and media not getting able to get to Media Row because of the bad weather situation. So weather has happened, but fortunately that was indoors as well too.
Nobody can complain better than the national media. We are the biggest complainers of all
They couldn't get the Media Row.
Yeah.
The one day.
Couldn't do anything.
They were stuck. But you know what? You're getting inclement weather. Thank God that those domes are in. They get the domes in some of those places.
I mean, I wish it was like something I could hit a button, but you were wrong.
Was it Atlanta?
And Atlanta wasn't in that Super Bowl.
I thought Atlanta went
It
down.
was the Rams and it was the Patriots.
Yeah.
Okay,
2000.
where was the
Not the winner on the
Atlanta
board.
Denver Super Bowl at?
Atlanta.
I thought that was in Atlanta.
I don't know. I remember we were hosting a big game party. That's where I remember.
Okay.
By the way, Mike
Stand
Johnson. Mike Johnson won our Globetrotter tickets. So congrats, Mike. So
All right, Mike.
Anyway, on this day, and I'm going to see if you guys can answer the question here. You know, here we are on NBA trade deadline, which passed already 50 minutes ago, and Durant is still a Sun. Back in 2008, you may remember the Suns acquired Shaquille O'Neal from the Miami Heat.
Yes.
Do you remember who was in the trade?
Oh man,
1 to 4-time All-Star for the Suns, and a guy. I'll give you this. I'll give you the number 2. It's Marcus Banks. You wouldn't have gotten that one. But who was the main star that went to Miami?
Sean Marion.
Very good, Manuch. You make up for that mess on Atlanta
Yeah.
playing in that Super Bowl.
I'm 1 for 1.
You're back on the good
Yeah,
list.
you're good. You can continue. We'll let you. We'll see how hour number 2 goes.
I remember that Mike D'Antoni hated the trade, and I don't know who the GM was at the time, but he was like, "You're going to do what?"
Yeah.
Because the great Shaq was just a shell of himself, and I don't know why Sarver was so enthralled. Robert Sarver, the owner at the time, to get Shaq here, and
Because he was Shaq.
yeah, but he could barely get up and down the court.
Well, you and I know that, but Robert Sarver didn't. He was enthralled because he could get Shaquille O'Neal.
There was a story nobody really verified that Mike D'Antoni almost resigned, almost quit because of this move by Robert Sarver. And I know he said there was rumors, reportedly, that there was arguments in the GM's office with Sarver about D'Antoni. Go look, and it was kind of the end of the 7 seconds or less, right? Because the following year was in 2009, 2010. Steve Nash got traded to the Lakers, so it was on the back end of the 7 seconds or less. That team was going nowhere fast, but Sarver was enthralled in having Shaq in town, and D'Antoni was just not having it, but had to accept it.
There were a lot of people that were. I mean, I think it was so torn. I think you and I, when we were doing a show, when that went down, I think you were against the trade. You're like, "What are you doing? Get rid of Sean Marion and Shaq." And I remember taking the side that this city needed an iconic guy to come in,
a star
to make some noise, to get people to talk about the Phoenix Suns. I just remember that being a big deal for me anyway, that, hey, Shaq's coming in, now they're relevant. And not that they were going to win more games, but they were going to be the talk of the town at another level.
Well, at a marketing side, because he was at the end of his
that's what he does.
But he was not going to improve the team. He was, matter of fact, they started to suck gas because he would, matter of fact, he would start for 3 minutes. He'd sit, but they were just like he was at the end of his career. They brought him in for a pure marketing thing, to your point.
Yeah.
Making him relevant, put him out there. He was not even close to what he was years prior. But I think Sarver wanted some kind of a bang to lift this team back up because they were faltering.
They needed it.
Yep.
So, 37 years ago, one of the best slam dunk competitions of all time, Michael Jordan beat Dominic Wilkins by dunking from the free throw line. We've all seen it. It's been on the cover of SI. Just
3.5 minutes.
Speaking iconic, that is the iconic dunk of all dunks. I mean, Dr. J did it first, but Michael took it to another level.
That was one of those when you came off, you stood up off the couch and went, did he just do what I thought he did?
Yep, you did.
And they did
I
it
don't think
over
did
and
you
over.
really do that?
Yeah, I'm like,
but you saw it before.
I never saw like
You
that
didn't see
before.
Dr. J do it? Dr. J was always doing it.
But Dr. J, but I mean, for Michael to take off from the free throw line,
which Dr. J did.
Hang on there like that. Well, maybe it was just with more flair.
Okay,
and
fair.
But I think it was just, he just took it. He went, oh my God. And then Dominique, I mean, some of the stuff he did.
Well, he was a
phenomenal.
power dunker. Nick was one of the greatest power dunkers of all time, in-game power dunkers. All right, I'm going to make a lot of people upset because there is a coach on the Phoenix Suns staff, an assistant coach, whose free throw line dunk is better than Michael Jordan's.
Currently on you're talking about
2.5.
Yep.
That's on the
He's
Sun
on the
staff
Sun
now?
staff. Yep.
Currently on the Sun staff now.
Brent Barry?
Yep.
I remember that.
Just go look at it, and you will, when you watch him in slow motion, not only that, he doesn't even take his sweatsuit off. He does it in his sweatsuit.
Well, you think about how good of a free throw shooter his dad was.
Yes.
Underhanded.
Yeah.
So they spent many nights in the backyard shooting free throws.
Oh, sure.
When he was a little kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
So I'll have to Google that one.
Look at Brent Berry. All you have to do is type in
And,
Brent Berry
you know,
dunk.
and the dunk contest was a must-watch. You know, those 37,
back
30.
then it was, yeah.
Because you had the stars dunking.
Yes. Yeah.
And you had this, we've seen this Dominique kid at Houston and Michael J. and Jordan. Yeah, he can make, but it was just
Atlanta was Dominique.
right, exactly. But I'm just in college.
Michael J. No one says Michael J.
Michael Jordan.
No, yeah. That's
No,
not
Michael
Michael
J.
J. Dude, you're off today.
No.
Dude, here's another cup of coffee.
Yeah, give him more coffee.
No, it'll make him focus. He didn't take his what's that pill you take?
I took two
Prevagen.
Yeah,
Two today?
Yeah.
I took two, absolutely.
So I've been taking these pills, not pills, it's gum called Neuro.
Yeah?
Focus, baby.
Really?
It's the best.
Get on top of that.
Yeah, it's gum.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
I know, and obviously you've slipped 3 times this hour. So
Well, I did correct one of them, though.
but it doesn't matter. We corrected you.
That's why you're here, Rock.
Hey, Jimmy Haslett, Manuch's former teammate with the Buffalo Bills. Of course, most recently XFL, I think. He was Seattle coach up there. Or what else? Give away another VIP for our big game watch party, and then picks. Yeah, so we got a lot to get to still this hour, or I should say hour number 2. Appreciate you hanging out with us. It's Rock, Manuch, Jimmy B. Jacks, and Connor here on ESPN 620.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a Colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Mark your calendars for Sunday, February 9th, because the only place you'll want to be is at Wecopa Casino Resort. This year, we're not just watching the big game. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are giving away cash. Yes, you heard it right. Get ready to win big with our amazing cash prizes just for watching the game. Here's how you can score cash. $25 squares game every quarter, $100 prop bets, and a kickoff challenge. Earn $1 for every yard on every kick return. Plus, a chance at our progressive jackpot that keeps growing with every touchdown scored. Doors open at 2 and it's first come, first serve. No purchase necessary. Just make sure you're 21 or older and a Wecopa Fortune Club member. Get ready for the ultimate game day experience with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Don't miss out on the big game viewing party at Wecopa Casino Resorts.
It's here, the big game, and the only place in the Valley to watch and win cash is at Wecopa Casino Resort. Join Roc and Manuch along with Jimmy B as they host the Valley's biggest and best free big game watch party. Sunday, February 9th in the ballroom at Wecopa Casino Resort. Win big with our $100 prop bets, $25 squares game, and big screen TVs every quarter. Plus, check out the kickoff challenge that awards cash after every kickoff. Best part, there's no cash to play, all included with free entry.
We got Jim on the line.
eBay menu and enjoy Dos Equis features throughout the event. Gather your friends and make it a day to remember at Wecopa Casino Resort. Doors open at 2 p.m. First come, first serve entry, and no purchase necessary. Just be 21 or older. Don't miss the only big game watch party where you can win cash just for watching the game. We have the best of it all. Wecopa Casino Resort.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing.
Jim's on the line.
It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-9771.
Make mics up.
And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
I'm good, Mooch. How you doing? Well, you know how I thought our team in Buffalo that year, we were close. Everybody was close. We had fun together, won a bunch of games. So, that's the stuff I always remember. Well, you know what? And they really should. It's a fun city. I know that lately you've had some negative stuff happen, but the people are wonderful. I mean, they're great. They love football, and this will be a heck of a game. But it's a great place for that venue. Well, I would say the thing that stands out, Vic runs everything out of a 3-4 front base, and Spags runs it out of a 4-man line front. That's the big thing. And they're really both exceptional on defense. Obviously, Philadelphia's number one in the league in defense. Kansas City's going to have its hands full with Saquon in the run game, but they've done a heck of a job. So this will be a better game than a lot of people think it will be. Well, I'm going to say I'm excited to see how Vic, does against some of the stuff that Kansas City does. All the movements, the really good wideouts they have, like Worthy, Hopkins, Brown, and Schuster. I mean, they're loaded. They got guys in the tight ends good. Obviously, Kelsey. The running game is efficient, but they go through the air more than the run. And then to see the same thing on the other side, you got Saquon, who's the best in the league in the rushing. And I was with him one year at Penn State. The guy, besides being a great football player, he's a great person. And you root for guys like that. And I can't wait to see what Spags rolls up to stop him. So it's going to be a heck of a game. Well, I know Kellen really well, and he'll stay. He is, besides being a really good coach, he's a heck of a person. So he'll stay focused. He knows what he has to do. The problem you got with nowadays with phones and everything, people, he'll have 200, 250 texts or emails every day. So you got to know how to do that. You can't worry about that. Worry about the game, or you have somebody come in and return all those messages for you, where you don't have to worry about that. You worry about the football game. Well, let me put it this way. This year's exceptional. I would say when you have A.J. Brown, you got Smith, you have Dotson, you got Gardner at tight end, it makes your play calling a little easier. And then you got Saquon. So, but he's a heck of a football coach. He's a heck of a person. He'll do a great job with the offense. He'll try to keep the quarterback where he's not going to be put in position to fail. I think everything will be, get the ball out fast with them, and they're going to try to run the ball and do those type of things. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Yeah. You know what?
4 minutes.
You look at them, and they're averaging about 92 yards a game, whatever, rushing. And you're like, that's nothing. And you got Kareem Hunt, who I think is a pretty good player, and Paschal, who's a pretty good player. But they also got some pretty good receivers, and Worthy and Hopkins and Hollywood Brown and Schuster. So, you start looking around. Andy is a master of picking defenses, and I think what the game's going to boil down to is, I think Kansas City's quarterback's better than Philadelphia's quarterback. I'll be honest with you. I watch that and I say, they should have let that quarterback's going to get hurt one of these days. They push him behind so he's bending in different places. But I hate that play. I coached it, and I coached all the defensive stuff. I wasn't sure. Do you go low and the linebackers go high? You go high and the linebackers go low. You know what? And then they start. It's not straight ahead. Sometimes it's sideways. Now they're innovative. They motion the tight end in and empty, and he takes it, so they don't have their quarterback doing it. I mean, it's a heck of a football play, and it's a pain in the butt to play against.
2 minutes.
Well, he is amazing because I know Andy's offense. It's a complicated offense. But once you get it, you get it, and your quarterback's set for a long time. he is amazing to me just because the throws he makes, the things he does, the movement. You can tell he's a good athlete. He runs around. The ball's kind of flying around sometimes, but I just think his overall game, he's not just a passer. He can run. He's athletic. He's just a heck of a football player. Yeah. Yeah.
1 minute left.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know what? She's a sweetheart. She graduated from Clemson. She kind of bounced around, worked with the Commodores, worked with the Outback Bowl, and she applies for this job with DraftKings, and she's been there 17 years. And they do a heck of a job, and I'm so happy for her. And she's making a lot more money than I'm making too, so that helps. I think Kansas City's going to win the game, and I do think it's going to come down to the quarterback playing well. Okay. I had some stuff ready for you, but I don't want to put it on the air. So you might have to find someone else to work with. All right, good talking to you guys. Thanks.
Clear to toss.
Life's a
Peaks Tempe, located in the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
Yeah, the word I would use, I mean, he said glum, I'll use toxic. Wow. like that shoot around yesterday I heard was very awkward, very weird in Oklahoma City because everybody was on pins and needles wondering what they were going to do. And I think now you have this reset where how do you move forward as a team when there was a clear mandate here, like they have to do something. And if they're not able to get anything done, which is, as we say, you talked about it in the open, there's aprons, there's all
Making Mike's hot, coming back to you in 5.
thing. And the thing they were trying to do did not come to fruition because Kevin Durant said no. It's hard to move forward, and that's where they're left.
That's Ramona Shelburne, senior writer for ESPN on NBA Today, which hit about noon today. As that's pretty big for a national senior writer to throw that out there. She's getting that from somebody. I mean, you could believe or not believe some of the stuff you see and hear on television, or on radio. But I think that this is something that is going to not settle well in this city as well as on a national level. They've already moved some games the Suns are going to play in,
right,
and on a national level. I just think that this is going to blow up in a bad way. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to be the start of the narrative, but I do think the Phoenix Suns are in a really bad place.
They're going nowhere.
Yeah, they're going nowhere, and the expectations were so high for this year.
Correct.
And now when you have guys like us on 98.7 saying blow it up, fans are listening, and they're going to hear it over and over. So then now the fans are going to start getting into that. Social media is going to start blowing up, and then Matt Ishbia is going to have to make a decision. All right, is it the coach? Are we going to make a move for the general manager position? Because that may be the next move. Because Matt, I'm sure, is relying on Jones quite a bit to make some of these calls. And you had a good 48 hours after this big trade went down with Luka to do something.
Correct.
And it's unfortunate that they couldn't make anything happen. Maybe the cupboard was just dry in the NBA. There was nothing left.
You couldn't do anything with Beal. He wasn't going anywhere. We talked about it for 2 weeks on the show. He was not going to waive his no-trade clause. Plus, nobody wanted him because of that contract. So the only bargaining chip that you had was Kevin Durant. Rock, you made an excellent point when the show began. His name did not get hot in trade rumors until 3 days before the trading deadline because they knew then they were not going to be able to acquire Jimmy Butler.
The thing is, though, if the Suns were kind of maybe thinking like plan B, plan C,
sure,
that Durant would be available for a move, you would think they would have the experience to know and look ahead. I mean, somebody made a phone call to the LA Lakers and said, "Hey, do you want Luka?"
Yeah.
Now all these other teams are pissed off that they didn't get on that.
Exactly.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, no.
There's GMs and presidents and owners that are buddies. They make a text, they make a call, and they say, "Hey, I'm just throwing this out there." But
but
you guys ever get rid of Luka?
Yeah, that's how you cut a deal, particularly the deal for Luka and AD.
Let me throw this at you guys. With this toxic environment being reported.
Yep.
Whether KD's the guy stirring it or not, obviously there's lack of leadership in this locker room, which is very disappointing. This is very disappointing as a Suns fan and seeing this going, oh, wow, we finally got Bill. These 3 stars should make this happen. Obviously not happening. So my whole contention, we throw this at you guys. If he's the guy that's stirring it up or seeing things that aren't coming to fruition, maybe it's Bill, maybe it's not, that's coming to a point where the Suns are going, hey, he's not happy. He's part of the problem. We got to look to move him. The Suns the last 40 hours did everything they could to try to move Kevin Durant.
But now they have some PR damage that they need to figure out.
Correct.
And I do think, thank you, I do think they need to get ahead of this. They should have had a press conference at 1:30 and basically address this to the local and national
I would agree,
media.
Rock. I would agree.
Hey, we made every effort. It didn't work. Our hands were tied. I think just being transparent right now, especially where this organization is, I think people would have respect that. They said, to your point, Jimmy, we couldn't move Beal.
Right.
Kevin Durant, we respect him. He didn't want to go to. We didn't want to go to the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
We respect him, and we're and other things. I'm sure there's some talking points that they could have come up with that they could have been ahead of this. And unfortunately, now it's going to be all this rhetoric and all these talking heads and social media going back and forth.
And toxic.
Toxic
yeah,
word.
yeah,
That's the word.
That's the word, toxic.
I think they're a little embarrassed the way things have gone down.
I don't know about embarrassed.
Well,
I embarrassed. This is the NBA.
Well,
I don't need to be embarrassed.
Well, because of the way these things have turned out, they couldn't trade KD. They couldn't make the Butler deal. I think that they're maybe not embarrassed, but maybe they're just got a little bit of egg on their face.
That's fair. I'd say that.
Yeah, maybe it's egg on their face. And I think that you're right, Rock. Come out and say, look, these are some of the things we're looking to try to fix. We could make this happen. We're trying to make things happen until the end of the year. We still feel have a chance to make the playoffs, whether you believe that or not.
Yeah.
You put that out there. But I think it's more egg on their face, and they're kind of like, hey, hunkering down to, okay, what's our next move? How do we paint this mess that we've gotten ourselves into?
Here's Bob Myers on ESPN talking about the front office needs to speak up like we just talked about.
They fix it. Okay, so he goes in there with the owner, with James Jones, Josh Bartlesy. He says, hey, look, okay, you try to trade me. Let's just have an honest conversation.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the places I didn't want to go. I appreciate that. But there's no secret. You tried to move me. So I'm here. Let's finish the season. I love basketball. I want to win. And he's always loved basketball. He's always going to love basketball. At the end of the season, let's all sit down so you don't blindside me again. I think
4 minutes till we toss to Jax.
He's done his part for Phoenix. You can disagree. And let's find, if it's not here, by the way, again, he never said, I want to be traded. But if it's not here, let's figure out a place for me to go. And the last thing I'll say is, I want to see Kevin Durant compete for a championship and be on a good team, just like I want to see Steph Curry, LeBron James. We want to see all the stars on a team where they can compete for a championship. So it's on that kind of team.
I'm with you. You want to see the stars competing for championships. Kevin Durant is a star. Unfortunately, he's not going to be competing for a championship right now with the Phoenix Suns. It's not in the cards.
You're right. And here's the challenge now that I have. I know he's a pro.
Yep, he is.
But now that he knows that the organization is going to move him, the summer is going to be all about Durant. And what gives him the incentive to bust his ass on the court,
because he's way different than Jimmy Butler personality-wise. He will.
But this
not,
isn't about Jimmy Butler.
No, I'm just saying.
This is about him and the Suns.
I know, but I'm just saying he is not the personality that Jimmy Butler was in Miami, trying to say all of those things and force his way out.
But it's not even close, Jimmy. And it's not even Jimmy Butler wanted it out.
No.
Kevin Durant doesn't want it out. You can't compare them.
No, I'm not comparing. I'm saying
you are.
No, I'm saying he is not that personality.
Okay.
So his personality will be, your question was, why would he still compete? Because that is his personality.
Well, he'll be a pro.
So he will be a pro.
He'll be a pro.
Even though it'll be under circumstances that he doesn't like.
Hey, look,
you don't know that.
Well, you hope. You hope that
we are not in that locker room. It's too toxic for us anyway.
Yeah.
But we have not had that conversation with KD.
Well,
and said, of course, he's going to say all the right things. He's going to be a pro, but it's just it's human. If you know you're leaving, if you knew that you're leaving ESPN 620 in 3 months,
right?
You're not putting your A game in every week. Come on. There is a part of you who's probably saying, hey, I want to go out on top. I want to go out strong.
Sure.
But, are you going to die for that ball? Maybe not.
I think what I hear you saying, Rock, is okay. It's nice for guys that want to come after Jimmy B. They want to poach your versus Rock going, you know what, Jimmy, we're going to try to get ready to trade you. We really are.
You've been great. You're our lead scorer. But right now, you're not in the future.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the future, you're just going to collect a check for the next 3-4 months.
Well, he is going to do that, but he is a basketball guy.
He's also, 36 or whatever he is?
35.
35, so he's at the tail end of his career.
I'm well aware.
And there may be some incentives tied to his contract. He wants to play those out, whatever it is. But I would hope, and you bring up a great point, Rock. I would hope he'd be a pro, play it out. He's going to be disgruntled. If there's issues that you see on the court, that he's not hustling, doing this or that, then I think Mike Budenholzer, I doubt
he's going to sit him. Is this going to be another Nurkic?
Yeah.
Hey, look, come on.
The Suns have made their bed. They're going to have to deal with it now.
They are.
This thing could be a mess, or it could be something to the point. Okay, we got to make the best. Let's at least try to make the damn play in.
I will say that Matt Ishbia, and we referenced this the other day as well. I appreciate him being a new owner, jumping in with both feet and trying to change the dynamic for the Phoenix Suns. Guys, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. You come out and you say, it didn't work the way that we hoped it would, and we're going to try to make amends.
Hey, Pat Riley struck a deal with the National Football League for three-peat. He owns the trademark of three-peat. We're going to talk about that. Got some other NFL news to pass along in regards to Super Bowl 59, but here's Jax with another ESPN 620 local sports update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour ESPN 620 Sports Update, sponsored by the big game at Weekapaw Casino Resort this Sunday. I'm Jackson Groff. The NBA trade deadline concluded an hour ago, and Kevin Durant, believe it or not, will remain a Sun this season, but one Sun was traded prior to the deadline. Jusuf Nurkic to the Charlotte Hornets, according to Shams Charania, in exchange for Serbian guard Micic and small forward Cody Martin, alongside a second-round pick in exchange for Nurkic in a 2026 first-round selection. Lock in your plans to join us for the big game at Weekapaw Casino Resort this Sunday. Win cash with our $25 Squares games, $100 prop bets, and the kickoff challenge. Also, there's great deals with Dos Equis and more. It's all free. We hope to see you there. Weekapaw Casino Resort this Sunday. Need more information? Head to the BigGameWatchParty.com.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolytes your body craves, but without the artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores, Cocoa 5, active hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
There's going to be a lot more games that tickets get to that price. So if you want to be a part of them, you better buy season tickets. You better do it right now. You better sell it out, because we're going to have a lot more games where this thing wants to show up to.
Mark your calendars for Sunday, February 9th, because big with our amazing cash prizes just for watching the game. Here's how you can score cash. $25 Squares game every quarter, $100 prop bets, and the kickoff challenge. Earn $1 for every yard on every kick return. Plus, a chance at our progressive jackpot that keeps growing with every touchdown scored. Doors open at 2 and it's first come, first serve. No purchase necessary. Just make sure you're 21 or older and a Weekapaw Fortune Club member. Get ready for the ultimate game day experience with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Don't miss out on the big game viewing party at Weekapaw Casino Resorts.
It's Thursday, and welcome to Lodge Mentality. The guys are live at Twin Peaks Tempe, located in the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
I think the men and women that officiate in the NFL are outstanding. They have the highest possible standards. That's ridiculous theory for anyone who might take it seriously. But at the end of the day, it's something we always have to continue to work on. How do we make our officiating better at all times? And if you look at the Chiefs' record, which I think is an amazing thing, people talk about the competitiveness of our league. The Chiefs, with their 15 wins, 15-2 this year, 11 of those 15 games were within one score. And I think that talks about
making Mike talk
and the importance of how we officiate it, but also the competitiveness of how we play it.
Roger Goodell, the commissioner, called the idea that the refs favor the Chiefs kind of a ridiculous theory in his press conference on Monday. Over the past 2 regular seasons, there's been no evidence of the Chiefs getting any benefit from the refs. Last year, the difference between the Chiefs and its opponent's penalty yards was minus 221, second lowest in the league. This season, they were flagged for only 20 more yards than their opponents. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm also not on the narrative that they're getting calls. However, when it comes to playoffs, they have had fewer penalties than their opponents in 10 of their 11 playoff games since 2021. That circulated last week on an ESPN graphic. So when it comes to playoffs, the conspiracy theorists are going to get into that. Because when you look at the last 2 years of postseasons, the Chiefs have been called for 16 fewer penalties for 160 fewer yards than their opponents. You could go either way with this, but the numbers really don't support it either way because they're so close. You can make a case regular season, they are or they're not. Postseason, they are or they're not. But at the end of the day, across the 15 playoff games, their opponents have committed, more penalties. But it's I guess when the penalties hit, it's when the penalty hits, like
right
where you can make a case when the Eagles and the Chiefs played in the last Super Bowl 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. There was a holding penalty with like 2 minutes left in the game that was atrocious.
Yes.
As an Eagles fan, it was a joke. And even Kansas City fans after the game said, yeah, I wouldn't have called it.
Yeah,
well,
right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess if you are a conspiracy theorist like I am, you can make a case sometimes. Or you could take numbers, you can put them in the blender, and it can spew out however way you want it to spew out.
I look at that as when it comes to playoff time, Andy Reid's teams, they play clean, they don't turn the football over, and they're just very sound. Because a lot of those times, you got to remember, they came back to beat the Eagles.
They did
in that Super Bowl 2 years ago. They had to come back and win that game. Now that holding call, that pass interference call, yes, very egregious call. But I mean, everybody likes, they don't make mistakes. They take care of business. They're clean. Their games are clean, and the key is they just don't make mistakes at the wrong time. And I think that's how I look at this whole thing. Is there are. I mean, they've had a good fortune. Yes,
they have. Oh yeah.
Let's be honest. But I think you could say the same thing when the New England Patriots were having success.
I was just going to bring
superstar
that up.
quarterbacks.
Yes,
help that because you look at Mahomes. Some people feel, and you may agree or disagree, that he gets preferential treatment. Here's the number: 6.3 roughing the passer penalties drawn per 1,000 passing attempts, ranks 28th out of 73 qualifying quarterbacks since 2009. So it's not like he's getting more calls than 27 other guys.
No, he's not. I just think it's the point you brought up, Rock. The penalties at the most inappropriate time.
There you go.
And that's magnified. Oh, my gosh. If they don't call that holding call, which is a horrible call, well, yeah, it's at the end of the game. It led to one of the touchdowns for the Chiefs. They scored. Then they come back, get the ball down, go down the field. They get the field goal to win the game. How about the defense stop the Chiefs? How about the defense make a play to stop the Chiefs? It's like when Tampa beat the Chiefs with those 2 tackles both out.
Right.
Their defense won the game.
Yes.
They got all over Patrick Mahomes. They forced him into some bad throws. Even with that, he still almost made a couple throws to win that game against Tampa Bay. So I think what's magnified are those calls at the end of the game or very crucial calls against the opposing team that allows the Chiefs to either get a field goal or go down and get a touchdown.
The thing that always gets to me, and excuse me, and they always have this stat, is how many penalties are called against teams in the NFL. And there's always 2 or 3 teams that have way fewer penalties called against them than the other teams.
True.
The Raiders are the biggest offenders that are always getting penalties called against them. So this happens all the time.
How much is it coaching? Because you remember when
There you go.
when Cliff
I was just gonna
Kingsbury,
say that.
Yeah.
when Cliff Kingsbury was here, that was a big knock.
Yes.
There was always 9, 10, 11 penalties, it seemed like. I mean,
Yeah,
I know that's not probably the number, but whatever it was, I just recall a lot of Mondays where you were questioning, offside calls and
Yep.
the team just not being ready.
Procedures.
Legal procedures.
Misalignment. Andy Reid is a stickler for that, as is
So is
Sirianni.
Belichick.
Sirianni, everybody. That's why I don't see a lot of penalties in this game. I see a very clean game, hard, slobber knocking type of game that they're going to play because Sirianni's big on that. Andy Reid's big on that, and they preach that all week. It's, hey, look, when you saw that movement by Kansas City, Pat Mahomes is very aware of setting his guys. As a matter of fact, they showed the Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl a couple nights ago on NFL Network, and I'm watching it. And in some of those last drives, Pat Mahomes went down to like 2 seconds and 1 second left to snap the ball to get that momentum back and keep that offensive Eagles on the field. Little things like that. Matter of fact, there's one time it was going down to 0. We call timeout. So there's little things like that these coaches preach week in and week out. And that's why I think hopefully you'll see a clean game this Sunday.
So the Chiefs, if they win, it's a big if, and that's in caps. I mean, it's in yellow, it's in red. It's like really big on my notes. If they could accomplish a three-peat, it'd be the first time in NFL Super Bowl era. You've heard it over and over and over. However, there's a trademark case that would be tough to kind of capitalize on that three-peat, like merchandise and things like that. However, Basketball Hall of Famer Pat Riley, who for more than 30 years owns the phrase in several variations, I should say, the trademark rights of three-peat. He has been raking in royalties from the Bulls, the Lakers, and the Yankees, who have been using that phrase after they won 3 consecutive titles. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't find the number. However, I did see a story that said his licensing stake, but you got to go back 20 years ago, was about $300,000 when the Bulls were on that little run there with Michael Jordan. But how great is that? How brilliant is that?
Brilliant.
For the Heat president and minority owner, Pat Riley, to see that many years ago and say, I'm going to pay the money and I'm going to trademark that term. And here he is 3 decades, and now he may have the opportunity to make even more money.
If memory serves me correctly, Mike Morocco owns several different website phrases that you go and, because I was with you one day.
Guess what day it is?
Yeah.
Remember that with that camel? I own that.
Yeah.
I own that.
See, you own that. Hump day. And when Herm Edwards was here and he coined the phrase "leave it on the grass," you immediately
I bought that domain.
You bought that domain too.
Thing is I bought those domains and they're still worth nothing.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I sold one. I can't remember what it was. I got like
Yeah.
a couple $1,000. I can't remember. It had something to do with oh gosh, what is it? What's Jax, help me out. It's what is the game? Not game. The games you play inside. God, Jesus.
Indoor indoor game. What sport?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
It's video games.
Oh,
EA Sports type stuff.
Yeah.
They did that.
What is that when you play inside in your
esport?
Esport?
No, it was esport. Yeah, but there was a it's a term though. It's more than, I think it's not esports, but anyway, whatever. I've lost
so
it.
you sold that one.
Yeah, I made money on that one.
Okay.
I should have.
But obviously I don't remember it, so it couldn't have been that big.
I should have copyrighted Sportstainment.
Yeah,
I brought that
you
up.
should've.
Should have did that many years we started on Sportstainment.
Yeah.
And I brought physicality back to the American language, as a matter of fact, but it was already in the dictionary, so I couldn't copyright that when I started that many years ago. But I mean, you think about people throwing phrases out there, and they're like, you should coin that. You should copyright that.
Sure.
So you spend, I don't know, $1,000 to copyright it. You ever get any money back? No, but I've got to copyright it. For a lot of those engineers out there have got their patents out there. Of course, they're making a lot of money with those patents.
So it was esports.
Was esports?
Okay.
Esports Arizona. Something like that.
Okay.
So did all
You were
right.
on it?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I should have held out a little longer. I would have had a little bit more money. Hey, we're out here at Twin Peaks. Right now, we want to give you an opportunity. We had given away all of our VIP for our Weekapaw big game watch and win party this Sunday. And one of our listeners reached out today and said that he jumped the gun. His wife had plans. It's very similar to Manuch. Wife wears the pants.
I always check.
This guy obviously has no balls, and now he can't go. So it opens up a table
We are smart.
for 10.
Yeah.
We're giving away a VIP table for 10, prime location for our event. Everyone in your party is going to receive his spring training tickets that he won, which is 10 of them for the Rockies and the Diamondbacks on February 22nd.
Wow.
Everybody's going to get an extra square, a bunch of swag from Weekapaw Casino and Resort, as well as Dos Equis will be there. So if you want to join us this Sunday with your buddies, friends, wives, girlfriends, whatever, you got to be 21 or older. Be the fifth caller right now at 602-230-0620. 602-230-0620, and you will join us. So I got that email today, so we feel bad that we couldn't make that happen. But Peaks Picks is next. We are going to take somebody here. Coco's supposed to join us. We're going to grab somebody here locally.
Oh, okay.
That will join us, and not on air, but we'll take it in person here. As I just screwed up Connor by calling out a contest, and then I'm supposed to be actually calling for another contestant. So we'll pull somebody here from Twin Peaks Tempe to play, and it gives, and hopefully it'll be a female that Connor can meet. Jax can meet. So we'll do that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Join the team at
Well, our Peaks Picks gal from Tempe, Twin Peaks, I believe is 3-0. Coco joins us. Hi, Coco.
Hi.
We miss you. We're out here in your patio. You're normally in the outside bar, and you're inside. I mean, what's going on? They should have told you need to be out here.
I didn't know you guys were coming today. It was a little switch up.
Okay, all right.
Patio.
So let's not let this happen again. Okay.
Okay, I'll try my best. Tell Mark.
Slacker.
We'll let Mark know. Yeah, we'll let Mark know.
Such a slacker, Coco.
All right, so we have 3 games. You know
Okay.
how this works. We are going to go. We're going to change this. Manuch doesn't know what he's doing, so we're going to change this. I don't care what he says. There's a Super Bowl this week. I can't believe we are not getting your Super Bowl pick. You're 3-0. He wanted ASU and who?
And Oklahoma State.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Yeah.
All right, this is how bad Grandpa over here is, knowing that you're coming on, and we should be doing stuff that's more what you like, right? I mean, do you really know anything about the Mavs and Celtics tonight?
I don't know anything about
Yeah.
football.
See, exactly.
I'm
That's
just
basketball,
here.
but yeah,
Oh.
that's all right.
That's where I'm at. We're talking about the Super Bowl, so I'm all football.
Let's
Yeah,
do-
that ball.
Let's just do one big
One
pick.
sport at a
One
time.
pick.
Yeah,
We're just
let's
gonna
do
do
that.
one pick.
Yeah.
Let's do the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick, Travis Kelce dates Taylor Swift. Okay, so that's the Chiefs. So we're on the same page there.
We're on the same page.
Okay.
I got the Super Bowl. I know
Okay,
I know
Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay, the green shirt. Okay, so we're all on that page. You're laughing, but you just. But and I'm not making fun of you. No way. I mean,
Yes, you
No,
are.
we're not. No, I mean, not everybody needs to know sports. I
And
mean,
she said it's okay.
He probably knows more about pop culture
I
than we
get this
do.
all day around the bar.
Oh,
I'm
I
like, I
bet.
don't fucking know. I just work here. Sorry.
Oh, jeez. All right, we got to dump that
Better
there,
dump
Connor.
that one, yeah.
Yes.
Dump
Anyway,
that one.
yes, you can't be doing that. This isn't a podcast.
Use colors. She knows colors.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
colors.
So it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They won 2 in a row, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles. So with that being said, because we
Chiefs.
know you got to get back. What? You're going with the
say
Chiefs? All right. What's the score going to be? Make a score up. So it's numbers. So it could be like 30-27. It could be something like that.
Let's say
So then
33 to 27.
33-27. Get that down. Okay.
Go Chiefs.
What's Steve and Tempe going with? Since we did an audible here, and we only gave him one pick. So what are you going with Steve there? I will say he's going Eagles 21-20.
Ooh, close game.
I don't like that
Stick
score
with
at
it.
all. Too low.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So let's just get to the fun stuff. So are you working Super Bowl?
No.
You got off on Super Bowl? Good for you. So how would you celebrate? How would Coco celebrate Super Bowl?
Sleeping.
Just sleeping
The whole day.
Really? The whole day? So it's a day of rest. Sunday's just a day of rest. Did you work all the time?
Yeah, all the house chores.
Oh, the house chores. Okay.
All
So
the
tell us, I mean, leading up to it, obviously a lot of people at the WM Open. Are you starting to see some people? Or you think next couple of days you'll start seeing some people in here?
For sure we are. Usually around 4 or 5 o'clock. Everybody's like, I gotta eat, been drinking all day. So we get
Okay.
a big rush.
Okay.
Especially because Scottsdale will fill up, so everybody will come down here.
Sure.
We still stay fairly empty. And then Saturday we got UFC.
Oh, yes.
Saturday night, and then Sunday a Super Bowl. So it's a pretty busy weekend. We're staying busy.
So will
fun.
you be sleeping on Saturday too, or
I will
will
be
you be
working
here?
UFC.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's a
I
good
will
night,
be.
right?
It is.
Good crowd. People can have a
For
good
the
time.
most part, yeah.
For the most part.
So you probably you're not going to be up by 4:30 on Sunday because that's when the Super Bowl kicks off. You're going to sleep in all the way.
Probably.
Look at you! Wow.
Wow.
All right, Coco, we'll let you get back to work. We know happy hour is starting in 10 minutes, so that's going to keep you busy. So thank you for playing as always. So that's Coco from Twin Peaks here in Tempe, is going with the Chiefs, 33-27. And Steve from Tempe, who is here in person, is going 21.
But she knew the colors. Yeah, the Eagles are green and the Chiefs are red.
Why'd you go Mavs and Celtics?
Yeah.
Well, I just thought we get.
And how do you
3
not
teams.
do a Super Bowl pick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was late at night. I was thinking about basketball and all that, and going, I just had a brain cramp.
ASU and Oklahoma State.
Noon
Come
on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
At least they moved the game up. I mean, that way people may watch it.
At Okie State. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, that's a good call for them. Got some off the wall stuff to throw at you. A random fact of the day.
Okay.
And finish the sentence. McDonald's sells how many hamburgers? Very important. Hamburgers.
Hamburgers.
Yeah.
Every second.
Ooh, wow. Every second?
A hamburger. Not a
hamburger.
Big Mac, not a
That's
cheeseburger,
just
not a
regular-
quarter pound
Just
cheesy.
a
A
hamburger.
hamburger every
Every second. Oh my God.
This is nationally, or I should say worldwide.
I'm assuming that.
It's worldwide. Okay.
I'll say, man.
Second. That's like boom. There's one.
Wow.
I mean,
I'll say.
Curious what number you think it actually is.
I'm going to say 5 million a second worldwide.
Wow.
You should just give us your keys. You're done. Go to another station. You are so off.
I'm gonna say 250,000 every second.
Jackson, you gonna join us today? I mean, what are you working on? What could you be working on? We're right here.
I'm working.
What are you working on?
All our interviews, segments,
Okay.
posting them on all our social media.
So tell us. So this is your
Getting
opportunity. Tell us
Coco's
what you're
phone
doing. So
number.
where are you posting stuff so people can see it?
On Roc and Manuch, at Roc and Manuch Radio on Instagram, at Roc and Manuch on Twitter, as well as Facebook and TikTok.
Okay, see, that wasn't that hard.
So good. What's your every
So how
second?
many hamburgers does
I said
McDonald's sell
250,000.
every second? Jimmy B said 5 million.
I'm gonna go less than 5 million. Give me 100,000.
75.
75,000.
75.
75
Just
burgers?
hamburgers.
It's a second.
I get that, but
you just talked. That's
they're
400.
worldwide. They're all over the world.
a second.
I get it.
If you said a minute, maybe I would say a much bigger number.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's move on. There's a poll.
I suck.
3,000 Americans found that buffalo wings are the best Super Bowl food, followed by chips, nachos, and pizza. When it comes to Arizona, what do you think the number one? Now, here your choices are:
Okay.
buffalo wings,
Yeah.
chips, nachos, pizza, potato skins.
Arizona. Oh man.
Pizza too. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll go nachos.
Okay.
I'll go with the wings. I'll go
Okay.
with the wings.
It's Arizona buffalo chicken dip.
Oh, so is that nachos?
That's nachos. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
buffalo
Yeah,
chip,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't like that at all. Ugh, I can't eat
I'm
that.
I'm a wings guy.
Yeah, wings were number one, 31 states. Almost everywhere east of the Mississippi. Chips were in 7 states. Nachos were in 5. Pizza came in at 3. Those cheese boards. Iowa, Kansas, and Montana.
Really?
So let me ask both Jax and you, Manuch, and you.
Yeah.
Both you three have lived in those states.
We have.
Are those boards, those cheese boards, big?
The charcuterie board.
Yeah, the charcuterie board.
Yeah, Montana, a lot of females eat them a lot more than guys. But
Okay.
yeah, it's a big thing.
So you go to happy hour and there's one of them out there?
Yeah, get you some.
Well,
I got a
the
charcuterie
Midwest
board.
is mostly meats. The beef and.
But
your
okay,
big
so that's
wings.
Montana. All right, what
Yeah.
about Kansas? No?
Kansas is big on the beef. I would charcuterie board in Kansas.
I have no idea what it even is.
Yeah,
is it
charcuterie
just,
board.
Is it just cheese on,
Bunch of
on a board?
Cheese and meats on a board and dips.
Oh, like
and
a
stuff.
like a happy hour smorgasbord.
No,
that
it's
sort of thing.
cheese board.
Charcuterie
Yeah,
board.
you
That's
got-
what it's like.
Okay.
You got salami.
Yeah.
and-
Okay. Now I know what you mean.
Yeah.
No, that's
No,
not.
that doesn't make
One
sense.
more random fact: 63% of Americans watch TV while eating dinner now.
Yeah.
Only 41% talk to people while they're having dinner.
You can't talk and eat and watch TV at the same time.
I can't remember a time where I didn't
Minute
have
and
the
a half.
television on.
Yeah.
I'd agree
When
with
I'm
you.
eating.
Yeah.
When I get home, we eat. If we're just having
It's part of the deal.
get the TV
yeah, that's
It's
going.
like, all right, let's get the game on,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Time to cook. Lots going on.
Exactly.
part of the
Crazy.
deal.
Now, I thought this was interesting. Only 17% of Americans usually eat dinner in 10 minutes or less, compared to the 44% who eat breakfast the fastest. I think breakfast is the fastest.
Yeah, for me it is.
You're on the go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Dinner, 20 minutes, half hour max.
minute.
Move on. Get to the shows. Catch up on with all the day's happenings.
Alan Garland, congrats, buddy. We'll see you on Sunday. Doors open 2:00 at our watch and win party at Weekapaw Casino and Resort. Pretty excited about that. I'm going out there tomorrow, do a little test drive for you guys.
Okay.
So when you come up, everything will be set up for you.
Perfect.
Nothing you guys need to do because you don't do anything anyways.
I knew you were
Except
going to
Jax.
say that.
Jax does a lot because right now he won't even come on the show because
Hey.
he's working.
Yeah.
We do a whole lot of nothing very, very good, Rock.
You're great at it.
We do very
Especially,
good.
I mean, when
pride
you
myself on
when
it.
you put it in a dictionary, you look at a dictionary,
Yeah.
you see do nothing for work.
Yeah.
Jimmy B's pictures right there.
Damn right.
And he's damn good at it.
Damn right.
I think you guys think because you're so old, you've already put in your
10
time
seconds.
doing work.
No, we
So
love
you don't need to
working.
do anything.
No, we love doing it.
Mike
Join it.
Mayock's going to join us next, the former Raider and draft guru. He will join us next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Twin Peaks Tempe.
Hi, Dieter Dan here with
Tempe Marketplace, Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of
Make it Mike's hot.
and Degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
It's all about Dan Minucci today. As earlier in the program, we had Jim Haslett on, who was his teammate there in Buffalo back in the 70s, 80s,
Late 70s.
Now
Early
we're really going crazy here. Now we're pulling out a roommate in his CFL days and a friend of the program, we think, and Liz is hanging out where I grew up in the Philadelphia area, South Jersey, where I'm at, and I was fortunate to run into him at an establishment a few years ago. Mike Mayock joins us now, the former draft guru and GM for the Vegas Raiders. How you doing there, Mike? What's going on? Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B.
How we doing, Mayo?
Doing great, fellas. How you guys doing?
Doing good. I'd love to get your take right now on what the pulse of the Philadelphia area is right now, and is it any different than it was just 2 years ago?
Well, I mean, I grew up in West Philly, and I just got off a show up there in Philly, and I'm down south right now, but I mean, I still live in Philly most of the year.
Okay.
And Philly fans, and I can say this because I'm from Philly, Philly fans jump on and off the bandwagon harder than any group I've ever seen. They break ankles jumping on and off bandwagons. And right now, everybody's on the bandwagon.
That's awesome.
After they put 55 on Washington, there's like no more room on the bandwagon.
Man, I got to imagine when your podcast with your lovely daughter Lee, believing in Eagles, has got to be to the point where there's probably nothing you haven't covered leading to this Super Bowl. But some of the things that you've covered would have been some of those things when you've watched throughout this entire year that you've noticed about this Eagles team that's been a constant, which you believe could lead them to this victory on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool because if you go back to a year ago, the Eagles were kind of, they were 10-1. They lost 6 of the last 7, got buried by Tampa Bay in a wild card game, and basically fell apart after starting 10-1. There were a lot of conversations in Philadelphia about Nick Sirianni, job security. The year before in 22, they lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So they went Super Bowl to a 10-1 start to completely falling apart, to firing both coordinators and hiring Kellen Moore on offense and Vic Fangio on defense. And if I was going to give you kind of the most valuable people in that building, I would say number 1, Saquon Barkley, number 2, Howie Roseman, the GM, and number 3, Vic Fangio, the new defensive coordinator. They've all been outstanding. And I think the Eagles roster is the best from top to bottom in the NFL.
And as a former general manager of the Vegas Raiders there, Mayo, how difficult is that for Howie Roseman to continually have outstanding rosters, great draft picks, do very well in free agency? You've been down that road. I mean, how difficult is that? And what has become his mantra to keep the cupboards full, so to speak?
Yeah, I think he's the best GM in the league right now. And he comes from a salary cap background where most people come from an evaluation scouting background. And I think that helps him with an ability to manipulate the roster a little differently than a lot of other teams do. He also is an outstanding evaluator and has a great staff. So, I mean, Dan, if you look at 2 years ago when they lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I look at the roster today, they only have 3 of their defensive starters from 2 years ago.
Wow.
But what they have filled in with, like Jalen Carter, who I think is the next great defensive tackle in football. What they did with Zach Vaughn in free agency, who went from just kind of a special team spot player in New Orleans to an all-pro in Philadelphia at linebacker. And then their first 2 draft picks this year are Cooper DeJean is the second pick, and he's their starting nickel. And Quinyon Mitchell is probably the best young corner in football today. So I think Howie hit it out of the park, both with free agency and the draft. And I think they did a great job bringing in those 2 new coordinators.
Mike, I agree with everything that you said, but my question is, how can they slow down Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the other wide receivers and running backs, including Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco? Can they slow them down so they're not putting up 30 points on the board?
I mean, look, Kansas City's offense was pedestrian in the regular season this year. They were number 15 in points scored. Philadelphia's defense was number 2 in points allowed. So, I mean, the thing I love about Kansas City is they can beat you in any type of game. If you look at their first playoff game against Houston this year, it was kind of a sloppy game. They couldn't run the football. The only guy that had big numbers was Travis Kelce. I think 7 catches for about $117, and they won the game in the fourth quarter. And then you go to Buffalo 2 weeks ago. They had the game in K-City, and they win that one 32-29, and you could pretty much bet when Mahomes got the ball back, they were going to win the football game. So, I mean, I think Philadelphia has better talent, But when I look at this game, and the thing that's hard about Kansas City's offense is every week somebody else beats you. The two constants are Mahomes and Kelsey. But like last year in the Super Bowl against San Francisco, Valdez Scantling had a touchdown and Mecole Hardman had a touchdown. They're not even with them right now. 2 years ago against Philadelphia, it was Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore scoring. And again, you don't know who's going to step up. Is it going to be DeAndre Hopkins? I'll tell you who's playing well is Xavier Worthy, the first-round pick, the wideout, who's one of the fastest human beings I've ever seen. So Vic Fangio and Philadelphia play a top-down defense. They don't give up a lot of chunk plays. I think they can rush the quarterback with 4. The discipline there is keeping Mahomes in the pocket, because in the Super Bowl, he'll rush more than he does in the regular season. So it's a really good question about how you handle Mahomes. And that's a long way of saying, as much as I love the Eagles roster, and I do, and I'm from West Philadelphia, if it's a blowout, I think the Eagles win. But if it goes into the middle of the fourth quarter and it's a one-score game, I would never bet against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I think they win that type of game.
And to piggyback off that, Mayo, the intrigue of Reed versus Fangio, as you kind of broke down. Then there's Kellen Moore versus Spagnuolo. What Spagnuolo's done in the playoffs, and to your point, that the Chiefs haven't really blown anybody out. They've just won. But the way that Spagnuolo's handled the defense to keep them in games and to continue to move them forward and allow this Chiefs offense to just win by enough. So what matchup is more intriguing for one Mike Mayock? More Spagnuolo or Reed Fangio?
I think they're the two best defensive coordinators in football. They're both about 100 years old, which means they're our age.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of these two guys, and the thing about Spags, and he, by the way, he's a Philly guy. I see him down the Jersey Shore in the summer sometimes. I mean, he coached in Philly. There's another subtitle there along with Andy Reid, who coached in Philly. But when you get in that red zone, Spags is coming after you. And they weren't really good between the 20s. But when you got in the red zone, you were kicking field goals. That's why they're number 4 in points allowed. So Spags will come after them. I think he's going to try and force them to not let Barkley run the ball as easily as they had on first down. Barkley's been amazing. And Dan, really, I think that the biggest challenge in the game for Spags and that Kansas City defense is force Philly to play left-handed, force Jalen Hurts to beat them, limit Barkley to a reasonable number of yards, and force Jalen Hurts to be efficient. And I've watched every one of their tapes this year. And when he trusts A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in man coverage, they win. When he holds the ball, they struggle. So that's really the efficiency of their pass game comes down to that.
And speaking of Hurts, the mantra that they took the shackles off him in the last playoff game, and Sirianni admitted it, and even Jalen said it was nice to have the handcuffs off wherever. Was the hold back on him during the regular year, Mayo, because they had the Saquon Barkley that Jalen didn't have to win the game by himself? Because he looked really good that championship game.
Yeah, he had a game earlier in the year against Pittsburgh that was very similar. And if you go back and watch the tape of the Super Bowl 2 years ago against Kansas City, he was aside from a strip sack fumble that was a scoop and score, he was lights out. He was the leading rusher for the Eagles, and they threw the ball a bunch that day, and he played really, really well. So, Dan, my biggest thing with him, and when I watch his tape, is what I just said a second ago. If when he has answers and the ball comes out quickly, it's really pretty. And by the way, those two wideouts, everybody talks about A.J. Brown. I think Devontae Smith is every bit as good. They got two all-pro type wideouts. They get more single high man coverage than any team in the league because of Saquon Barkley. And when he trusts them and rips it, it's really good. But again, for every NFC championship game, there's another game where it kind of doesn't come out. He takes 3 or 4 sacks. The best thing he's done this year is not turn the ball over after having a lot of turnovers last year. So he needs to be efficient. He doesn't need to be 34 for 40 for 400 yards, but they need to be efficient.
Duville Inn. Is that where I can see him when I'm down there in Ocean City? I can just head over to the bridge and go to Duville.
Good to start rapping.
Yeah, I love Deauville, man.
It's the best. It's the best.
I ride my bike over there just so I can have a couple pops.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Mike, we know you do a lot of these, man. Thanks for making some time for us out here in Phoenix. We appreciate it. And, I'm an Eagles fan, being born and raised there, too. I think, to your point, they could blow them out or it could come down to the wire. So it should be a good one. It's one of the better ones, at least on paper right now.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. And, Dan, good luck. Rock, good luck, fellas. Always enjoy it.
Thank you, Mayo. Mike Mayock joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620. You can follow him on X at Mike Mayock. So we appreciate him joining us. Coming up, our underdog picks. So we will do that next as we're coming to you from the Twin Peaks in Tempe. This is ESPN 620.
Huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part, we don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at Venezias.com. That's Venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
The Harlem Globetrotters 2025 World Tour is here, and we're loving hearing from our fans that you love seeing us play. You love seeing the dunks, alley-oops, long shots, trick shots, the buzzer beaters, and all the cool tricks. And we can't wait to bring all our history and all the laughs. We're coming to Desert Diamond Arena on February 21st. Go to HarlemGlobetrotters.com for tickets to the 2025 World Tour, presented by Jersey Mike Subs.
Choosing the right lawyer after a car wreck is important. You need to consider the law firm's experience, results, and reputation. Lerner Rowe stands above other law firms when it comes to experience and results, helping over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries. When it comes to reputation, we have thousands of five-star reviews, and year after year, we have been voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. Call us today and let us put our experience, proven results, and reputation to work for you.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
At Grand Canyon University, we believe in equal opportunity, and the American dream starts with purpose. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's learning environments are designed for supportive networking and collaboration. With over 330 academic programs, GCU provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are now here on Phoenix's home for the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN Radio. Tune in weekdays from 1 to 4 on 620 AM, 98.7 HD2, or online at arizonasports.com. Plus, check out their show page at rockandmanuch.com for past shows and promotion. That's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now heard on ESPN 620.
$1 zillion. The question is, who let the dogs out?
Coming back to you guys here.
Most weekend bettors prefer to
Mics are hot.
on favorites because they can't get their head around underdog. Not Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. They're all about the dogs. Time now for the guys' dog picks of the week on ESPN 620.
All right, we do it every week. By the way, we're going to go out to Bourbon Street and catch up with Howard Balzer here in about 10 minutes. We're out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. We like to do underdog picks. We've been doing them throughout the season, and now that football is kind of coming to an end, we've had to get a little creative. Had to get into some basketball, NBA, college. Still, have you guys ever been in one of those Waymos yet?
I
No,
have not.
I will not
No.
go in
Jax,
it.
have you been in?
Yeah, I have.
I'm afraid to get into one because I remember being downtown Phoenix and it stopped in the middle of the road. Cops couldn't move it. Just sit there.
It just sat there?
Just sat there. No one could talk to it.
And you can't open the doors until it stops and lets you out. So you're like, you're in there.
You're trapped.
You're trapped.
I'm saying I feel like I'm claustrophobic as it is. I might not be able to handle it.
Tough.
All right, give us an update on how we're doing there, Jax.
Yeah, we'll start from the bottom and make our way up. In last place, 2-2, Connor had Oregon plus 4.5 at UCLA. That did not hit. In second to last, Manuch 9-11 had the Rockets plus 5.5 against Memphis Grizzlies last week. 10-10, Rock had the Seattle Redhawks 10.5 over
500.
TCU. They covered, did not win, but covered. And then Jimmy B 11-9, Rockets
9-11. Oh,
No,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
11 and nine.
You
11
jumped
and-
one. You jumped one. All right.
He,
all
cop-
right.
he copied me.
I said Manuch.
Yeah.
Already.
I-
You got to listen.
I'm not listening to Manuch. I was not listening to Manuch.
You had to listen to
11-9,
Jax.
Jimmy B, Rockets plus 5.5 at the Grizzlies hit that, and then your leader 13-7. I had Oregon plus 4.5 too. So coming off of the losses, and Jimmy B's catching up.
Yep.
That's
what I do.
You had to copy me. That's twice you. You're welcome for the couple
Oh,
wins this year.
please.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Please. That was the best bet of the entire day.
All right, we turn our attention to this week, and we'll start with myself. I'm in the Utah Jazz Phoenix Suns game for tomorrow, 8:00 start. Utah is not looking good. They're looking to stop a 6-game road losing streak. We just saw the Suns get blown out by what, 51 was it? Or 31?
31 points.
31.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It was.
They got blown out.
Bad.
Jazz are bad. We know they're bad. The spread's 10.5. I just don't know what's going on with this Phoenix Suns team. Are they as toxic as being reported? And if that's the case, who's going to step up? Is Durant going to play? I mean, did he not play because of his ankle, or did he not play because
He's
he's going to get
questionable.
traded?
He's questionable for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So I'll take the points.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Connor, fire it off. Give me a little love there, will you, buddy?
For what?
Give me a love. Manuch.
Manuch, you
Yeah.
played the game, so this should be a no-brainer. Give us your dog of the week.
I'm going to go with the Pacers plus 5.5 versus the Clippers. Pacers are playing very good basketball.
They
Clippers
are.
right now, they're like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get right now with the Clippers.
That's
but I'm going to go with the
stupid.
Pacers.
You could come up with something better than that.
You know what? They're just a big old.
So cheesy.
I could have said the Clippers are a big old melted chocolate mess, kind of the same thing, like a box of chocolates. So go with the Pacers plus
It's
5.5.
like, do your grandkids laugh? I mean,
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. Somebody does. You know.
All right, so it's my turn. Hit it, Connor.
But he's been calling the games for close
I don't
to
even know why we
50
do it.
years. Jimmy B, what's your underdog pick of the week?
All right, you guys are going to laugh at this, but I don't care. So I get laughed at all the time on this show, but I'm going to roll with the Denver Nuggets at home hosting the Orlando Magic. The Magic getting 7.5 points. Orlando is in their fight right now for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Remember, they were red hot. They had a couple players have injuries that cost them. Pablo Banchero is finally back. I'm going to roll with Orlando. I think Denver may win the game, but I think it's close down the stretch. Orlando plus the 7.5.
Jimmy, you can't pick that one because you said
What?
Pablo Banchero, not Paolo.
Oh, Paolo,
Banchero.
pardon me.
I didn't know Pablo Banchero was playing tonight.
Well, Paolo is
Pablo,
playing.
Pablo, tomato.
All right,
same
Connor,
deal.
hit my open.
Chocolates.
Yeah.
And finally, we figured we'd throw him a bone and get him in the game. Former Montana Grizzly walk-on wide receiver and show producer Jackson Groff. Jax, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going with the alma mater. Give me Montana plus 6.5 at Northern Colorado. The fight for the number 1 seed in the Big Sky. You got 9-1 Northern Colorado at home against Montana, 8-2 right in a 5-game winning streak. Give me the Grizz.
Didn't Northern Colorado just beat the dog out of that school up north? in Flagstaff?
NAU?
NAU?
Yeah,
Didn't
they sure did.
Didn't they beat the
Crushed
dog
them.
out of them? They
Yeah,
did.
They did.
Oh,
Why
boy.
you got to step on
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Grizzly grad?
I'm not. I'm just saying that Northern Colorado is really good on
We
their
get it.
home
We get it,
court.
Jimmy B. You got ESPN Plus. You're watching all the games. We
He's
get
got
it.
his phone, his flip phone.
Yeah.
He's getting texts from people. All right, so I want to set this up.
Oh, we got to go to Connor.
Yeah, Connor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Connor. He didn't put it on the lineup, so I don't. It doesn't count unless you put it on the lineup.
Oh, yeah. No, I was still running the lines everywhere. I think in the spirit of the waste management, I'm going to go to golf. We've been talking a lot of golf bets this week. I'm going to go with, let's see here. I like Jordan Spieth.
Is that an underdog?
Top 5.
So
that's at plus 500. So that's an underdog to finish in the top 5.
All right, so we have to decide what the number is when it comes to odds on where would be an underdog.
I don't think that should count.
I don't either.
I think that's lame. I mean, since when are we doing golf bets?
Well, it'd be
so
different.
he doesn't put it on the lineup, and then we're going to go golf.
It'd be different if there was an underdog, but is there an underdog?
I don't know.
I mean, I think you can make the case like on a Sunday,
yeah,
where guys like
Isn't
in 20th
anybody
place.
not Scotty Scheffler an underdog?
No, I mean that could be a question. I mean, we did put up a question today for our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question, which is a little bit different. Are you in favor of the PGA Tour players wearing shorts? Yes or no? Are you in favor of the PGA Tour players wearing shorts in tournament play? Check that out. By the way, the Live, and I posted it today on our Twitter page, came out with their new branding campaign. Outstanding. From somebody who considers himself somewhat of a marketing person. They nailed it. They talked about having fun. They talked about kiss cams. They talked about all this crazy stuff that I think this 1-minute commercial, which you'll start seeing, is outstanding. It's what the PGA Tour needs. Unfortunately, Liv got to it before they did. And it kind of gets into the fact that Liv, they do allow their guys to wear shorts.
Are you saying the PGA Tour is stale?
They're behind times.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it is. Hey,
you got players that are out there complaining. I mean,
right?
Yes, absolutely.
And will that draw more eyes to Liv? That their market
well, they're going to
campaign.
be on Fox now, so they're going to have a major opportunity here.
Yeah, you go from this CW to that
to Fox.
We kid around. You listen to it. It's hard not to. We've been promoting our Super Bowl party, but we're not allowed to say Super Bowl party.
Right.
We have to say big game or something like that. There's so many restrictions when it comes to that. Our intern Barney, which will be at our
Is he going to make it?
Party decided to put something together.
Okay.
And he is calling it the Booper Soul Nifty Fine. So
Barney came up with that, huh?
This is basically a bit on the Super Bowl and how to avoid the violations of trademark rights. If you're ready, Connor, fire it off.
We've swapped out the first letters to make this promo legal to broadcast according to NFL rules so we can sneak by trademark and copyright laws. Don't miss Booper Soul Nifty Fine. It's the Philadelphia Eagles against the Kansas City Chiefs. You'll be able to watch the quarterback matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Halen Jerks. And don't miss the Booper Soul Shaftime Ho featuring Lendrick Kamar. So eat some Wickenchings, bring some deers, and fought football on your Tig Benfoot screen. It's Booper Soul Nifty Fine, only on Ox.
Very creative.
Great. Way to go, Barney.
That's great, Barney.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how many takes that took.
Oh, yeah.
You imagine that.
You probably would do it in phrases and then edit it together. That
You'd
would
have
be
to,
the,
yeah.
That'd be the
Is
easiest
that how you would
way.
do it? Did you do any of your own editing?
No.
No, none.
No.
They just kept a computer away from you?
So
even when you were like a sports director in some little market like Spokane or whatever, you didn't have to do your own stuff?
Back then.
Well, no, we mean not yesterday.
No. But back now the major sports guys, they have to do all their own editing.
And they also have one camera out there, and they share footage now.
That is correct.
Which is kind of cool.
That was never the case when I was there. We were always in constant competition with the other stations. I mean, in Dallas, I wouldn't even talk to the guys at the other place, at the other stations. You just didn't like them.
But you had a cameraman come out with you.
A lot of times I had a producer with me as well.
So let me ask you, what did you bring with you to make you look taller? I mean, was there some kind of like platform, or did you wear Skechers? They didn't have Skechers back then.
No, they didn't have them back
so
then.
how would you make yourself, honestly, how would you make yourself taller?
Actually, what I did all the time is I would turn chairs around and I would sit on the back of the chair, and my guests would then sit on the back of the chair. So when the camera shot us, we're sitting with our butts on the back of the chair, so we were
Makes
pretty
sense.
much the same height, and it appeared that we were standing up.
So how many times would you say, and like if you did, I know you did a lot more, but if you did 100 interviews in a basketball arena, how many were on the bleachers? Because you could step up on a couple of the bleachers.
I did that a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, particularly a funny one I did with Bill Walton a long time ago, where I was standing about 5 bleachers up and interviewing Bill, and then the camera pulled back and showed that I was.
So funny that I could try to bust your balls, both of you guys, and you just take it.
We roll.
I'm not taking it because it happened. If it didn't happen, I'd fire back. But unfortunately, that's how I roll.
Remember, Buddy Ryan had a stool.
Sean Rashaw, who was the PR guy, he was responsible for that little bench.
Yes.
And I'll make another secret too, is you see Lerner and Rowe, those commercials.
Sure.
Kevin Rowe joins us on Fridays.
Right.
He's the guy typically on the right. Glenn is on the left.
Uh-huh.
Well, when they do commercials,
they're the same height.
No, yeah, because Glenn is your size.
Right.
They use telephone books.
Oh, I used
How
to sit
about
on
that?
phone books.
Yeah, the
but
phone books.
like if I was on the set, and let's say we're having a basketball player come in and do a sit-down interview, and the guy's a 7-footer, I'm putting the phone book down and I'm sitting on the phone book.
Jimmy's
So
got
I
his
have
chair,
that.
scraping the chair.
Trust me, I got them all down.
I love
Believe
it.
me.
All right, we're going to head back out to New Orleans. We're going to catch up with Cards beat writer Howard Balzer, get his thoughts on what's going on out there at Bourbon Street. But here's another ESPN 620 local sports update by Jax.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour ESPN 620 Sports Update, sponsored by the big game at Weekapaw Casino, Casino Resort this Sunday. I'm Jackson Groff. The NBA trade deadline concluded 1 p.m. earlier today. Kevin Durant will remain with the Suns, but one Sun was traded prior to the deadline. That was Yusuf Nurkic, traded to the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Serbian guard Vasis Micic and small forward Cody Martin, a second-round pick in 2026 in exchange for Nurkic and the 2026 first-round selection. Lock in your plans to join us for the big game at Weekapaw Casino and Resort this Sunday. Win cash with our $25 Squares games, $100 prop bets, and the kickoff challenge and more. And the best part, it's free. We hope to see you there. Weekapaw Casino Resort. Need more info? Head to the BigGameWatchParty.com. That's Weekapaw Casino Resort. Completely free. Win cash, and we're giving out TVs this Sunday.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selection. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frankwood Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Join us at Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf to test drive the new tailor-made QI 35 Woods, the 4th generation of carbon wood technology. This driver unlocks a new level of distance by combining optimal launch conditions and ultimate forgiveness to maximize performance. Book your fitting in-store or online. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, proudly serving golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Sun Devil men's and women's basketball are ready for a Big 12 showdown. Jihad at the left elbow. Bounces to it's coming on the left baseline for a slam dunk. Catch Sun Devil men's and women's basketball for a Hoops doubleheader Saturday, February 15th, when the Sun Devil women play host to Utah at 2 p.m., followed by the Sun Devil men's basketball team at 6 p.m. when they take on the TCU Horned Frogs. Get your tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Get ready for the ultimate big game watch party at Weekapaw Casino Resort. Join ESPN 620's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Sunday, February 9th. Enjoy the game on our massive screens. Indulge in delicious food and beverages, all included with free entry. Plus, there will be exciting cash giveaways throughout the event. Don't miss out on the best place to watch the big game. Weekapaw Casino Resort. Doors open at 2 p.m. First come, first serve. For more information, visit thebiggamewatchparty.com. Must be 21 or older.
Looking for the perfect destination before and after the WM Open? Welcome to Putting World, the ultimate 18-hole
Got Howard locked in.
designed to delight golf enthusiasts of all levels. Putting World is your home all week during the WM Open. Free shuttle daily, live music, food and drink specials, and so much more. Putting World promises an unforgettable experience. Visit them at the Scottsdale Promenade, or to learn more, go to puttingworld.com. That's puttingworld.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame Margarita. Try it at your local lodge today.
He's been covering the National Football League for close to 50 years. A longtime NFL writer, broadcaster, and co-host of the Pro Football Hall of Fame show on Sirius XM. A Hall of Fame voter, Howard Balzer. Now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, Howard Balzer joins us now live from New Orleans here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. All right, Howard, you've been there, 44? What year is this for you for Super Bowls?
You got it right. This is number 44.
44. Wow. All right. How long you been down there? How long you been in New Orleans?
And the first, just to show you, just to tell you real quick how things have changed. That game was here in New Orleans.
Wow.
And it was the Raiders and the Eagles. Dick Vermeil, of course, was the coach of the Eagles. Tom Flores with the Raiders. And things were so different then that the headquarters hotel was the Hyatt, and the media center was downstairs in the Hyatt Regency Hotel. There was no convention thing and all. Things are a lot different today, but I always remember that about that first one that I went to and how different it was then in terms of what it's become.
So how long you been down there? When did you arrive?
I got here on Monday.
Okay, so give us an idea of fandom. What are you seeing more of? Are you seeing more? Which team are you seeing the most of?
It's interesting with that because at the early part of the week, there isn't that many fans in town yet.
Yeah.
And it's somewhat slow, and even it's reflected at Radio Row, where it's not even radio anymore. They should just call it Media Row because it's more podcast now than radio and all the TV and video and all that stuff. But anyway, there's not that many fans that come in until right around today and Friday and for the weekend because, most fans aren't coming in early in the week. So it's a little bit early to get a gauge on the fandom in terms of, who has more. But I would say I would think it would probably be pretty evenly balanced because both these teams, travel decently. They don't travel like the Packers or the Steelers or some of those other teams, but they travel pretty well. And so I think at the end of the day, it'll probably end up being pretty even.
Howard, it seems to be relatively quiet. Really no drama going on. It's all been a lot of NBA talk, trade deadlines, what have you, last few days here. But is there any kind of a mantra or a vibe per se on any one of the teams, or just been very low key?
It has been somewhat low key, and it's, I guess you could use the term business as usual. Certainly have all the discussion, the whole, this is a game this is a matchup that, of course, was played 2 years ago, right there in Arizona between the Chiefs and the Eagles. And so I think when there's so much familiarity with the teams that there's, not as many of the storylines that sometimes you end up, coming up with. Certainly there's a lot of the talk, obviously, this whole notion that, the Chiefs, nobody likes them anymore. They want somebody else to win because they're tired of them. And, I understand that to a degree, but it's also the excellence that they have that I would think that, good fans would appreciate. That would appreciate that. And you do have the presence that's different from 2 years ago, Saquon Barkley, who it's hard to call him a wild card in this game because he's been so productive the entire season. But that makes the Eagles a little different, a bit different team than they were 2 years ago when they took the Chiefs right down to the wire in a 38-35 loss. So, but I think overall it's, there's not controversial players. There's not a lot of, wild things going on. And I think that's pretty much, like I said, business as usual as these teams are. So many players on both teams are accustomed to being here. There's always going to be new guys that haven't been, but there's also an awful lot that, that certainly for the Chiefs that have been in the game year after year, but even for the Eagles who were in it 2 years ago.
Howard Balzer's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Howard, I'm real curious to ask you this. The NBA, it stole the Super Bowl thunder for the first few days of the week. It was nationwide, everybody speaking about basketball. Was it the same way in New Orleans? Did it get overwhelmed there with the NBA, or did it stay in the media aspect of nothing but the Super Bowl?
I think in the media aspect, there were some players that were asked about that and all that. But I'll tell you, on Monday night, at opening night, which has turned into the extravaganza that it has become, and it was in the Superdome, and basically the entire lower bowl was filled with fans who were just there to watch people being interviewed. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And there was a ton of media there. They were obviously going around and doing their thing and interviewing the players and the coaches and all that. So, and that was the first night of things really going on. So I think for the most part, it's been the football. It's been the Super Bowl. It is early in the week, and there's always kind of a rhythm to the week where it does start off a little bit slow with a lot of the talk anyway. But I think, now that the weekend's almost here, it's definitely going to be ramping up despite a few trades that caught the eye of a lot of people in the NBA.
He's Howard Balzer joining us here, Sirius XM NFL Radio out there in New Orleans. You can catch him on his X page at HBalzer721. Howard, a lot of talk and what they've shown, because it seems like today was like the main day where all the big talk shows were there live on location. It looks as though, from what you can see, there is a lot of security. There's a lot of guys in uniform. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, there has been a lot of security, and certainly you knew that was going to happen after what happened down here a few weeks ago, that they were going to take all precautions and make sure that they can have this as secure as possible and have a lot of, police presence and things like that. So obviously that's one of their big concerns is doing that. So yeah, you do see it. It's not, I haven't been around town that much in terms of getting stuff done and being around the convention center and all that. But I would think, especially as the weekend arrives and there's a lot more people in town, that the security will probably even ramp up even more than it
2 minutes.
Ready.
What are some of the storylines you're looking forward to during the game? Some of the maybe prognostications that you could see happening for one team or the other?
Obviously you always have the usual ones with the quarterbacks and all that. But, I think that, talking to Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator Monday night, he was I asked him specifically about stopping the explosiveness of Saquon Barkley. And he said, well, they've got other guys you got to watch also. You can't just put all your eggs in his basket, but you do have to keep him from having those big touchdown runs that he has had in the postseason. So that's obviously one of the big aspects of this game. And from the Eagles standpoint, I don't know. Jalen Carter has really become a game wrecker on the defensive line for the Eagles. And I was checking out his snap counts in the last day or two, and I was a little, most of the time you got defensive linemen, especially big guys, they don't play usually more than 60, maybe 70 snaps a game. I mean, he played 84% of the snaps during the regular season, and in the postseason, he had one game where he had 92%. And so, he's a presence out there. Well, he hasn't practiced the first 2 games of the week because of an illness. Now, I'm not going to overstate that and say that that's going to be a huge factor, but you do wonder in terms of in terms of that, if he's a little ill and he hasn't practiced, is his stamina going to be affected for this game in terms of being out on the field as much as he has been? So that could be something to watch, obviously, and certainly I mentioned the Barkley deal, obviously, with the Chiefs. They have some good young receivers. Like last year, Rashee Rice didn't play that well, during the first part of the season as a rookie, and he really came on in the second half of the season. And then, Rice got hurt this year, and he's out. But
You guys are good to start wrapping.
Round pick has kind of been on the same during this game. So there's perhaps some X factors, along with Kareem Hunt, who's getting a second chance with the Chiefs. Wasn't even with a team in the offseason or training camp. And then Isaiah Pacheco got hurt early, and the Chiefs brought him back. He had been there way back in 2017 and 2018 before the incident in a Cleveland hallway with a woman got him cut, was with the Browns, and he was wondering if he was going to play again. He was, because no one had signed him. And then all of a sudden Pacheco gets hurt. He comes in, and he's been pretty productive for the Chiefs in several of these games. So I think that's another guy that maybe people aren't paying a lot of attention to that could really end up being a factor in this game on Sunday.
All right, Howard. So how is this game going to play out?
The one I mentioned, 2 years ago was 38-35, and the Eagles tied it a little over 5 minutes to go on a Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown, and then he ran for a 2-point conversion to tie the game, and then the Chiefs went right down the field and kicked the game-winning field goal with about 8 seconds to go. So it's funny. So many people ask me, okay, who you picking? And, the Eagles obviously are a different team with Barkley, and you can certainly make a case for them, winning this game. But as I say all the time, if you pick for the Eagles, that means you're picking against the Chiefs. And that can be a dangerous thing to do because we just see the Chiefs time after time winning those close games as they have this year. I mean, they are 12-0 in one-score games this season, counting the playoffs. And going back to last year, they have won 17 consecutive one-score games. Wow. I don't see any reason, unless there's crazy turnovers or weird stuff, I don't see any reason why this won't be a close game. And in most of those close games, it seems like almost folly to pick against Kansas City.
All right, last one. Sirius XM, when are you on? Because I know you're busy all week, so when can someone tune in to hear you?
I'll actually be on this evening.
Okay.
And let me see, get the time zone right. It will be from 9 to 10 after the Hall of Fame class is announced tonight at NFL Honors. Tonight we're going to find out MVP, Coach of the Year, and all those big-time awards. But the Hall of Fame class will be introduced on stage, and then I've had the honor of doing the post honors presentation of the Hall of Fame class and doing that show for many years on Sirius. So really looking forward to that tonight and being able to talk to the Hall of Famers, who all have known now for several days that they're going in, but they're not allowed to tell anybody.
Right.
And so now that's one of the things they're most happiest about after tonight is that they can finally talk about it and say how much it means to be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Howard, appreciate you, man. And we know you're busy out there. A lot going on. Thanks for calling home. We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care.
That's
Howard
Balzer, Balzer 721, Sirius XM NFL Radio, as you mentioned. If you're into the Sirius XM, just Google Howard Balzer and you'll see when he'll be on and all that good stuff. We're going to announce the winner of our Twin Peaks Fantastic Sweepstakes next, courtesy of Blue Moon and Coors Light. It's been our biggest contest ever. We'll do that next year at Twin Peaks Tempe. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN 620.
You may not have any
One call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted
know why you can't
Arizona's
get a Twitter
best law
page.
firm.
Yeah, this summer is now going to be, we're going to be eyeing Durant come this summer. Now, you never want to make an assumption. You will see how the rest of the season ends. We'll see how the studs play out. For a year and a half now, this triumvirate, Beal, Durant, and Booker, has not led to consistent winning. And we know we don't have to worry about what the Suns say about it. They're at
Mics are hot.
They don't think it works because they tried to trade Beal until they were blue in the face, and then they tried to trade Durant.
Yeah.
So this summer, it's going to be about Kevin Durant.
That's Brian Windhorst today talking about Kevin Durant and how this is all going to go down this summer. It's going to be all Kevin Durant.
It is.
It'll be the narrative for the NBA. I'm sure there'll be a couple other players out there that'll be mentioned as well, but this will be a big deal. And unfortunately, it's February. We're going to have to listen and talk about this for the next 5 months.
And you know what's going to make it even worse is if they're in the play-in tournament and they get bounced in the play-in tournament.
Don't say that, Jay.
They don't even get into the playoffs.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
How bad would
How
that
bad
be?
is that gonna be?
2 years in a row?
Yeah. I mean, play in, and not even the playoffs with this group of guys.
You're
These
just
three
in the play-in.
They turn into the three amigos right now. I mean, as well as instead of three stars, for crying out loud. But it's unfortunate. But I think Matt Ishbia, James Jones, you'd have never known. You'd have thought they put these three together and that they would, that they would be huge dividends.
We all
get
sat
this team
here.
to the playoffs.
We all sat here when it took place saying, "Oh, this is going to be great." Now they got a threesome that all three can score.
Yeah.
All three can carry this team at certain times throughout the season, and it blew up in their
just
face.
real quick, why hasn't it worked in your mind? And watching these three stars, they can score. They're good at. They're
great athletes.
Great athletes.
Yep. I think that there's a missing ingredient someplace, and that missing ingredient is a leader. Because the three of them are not leaders. Beal isn't.
They don't want to be
Durant
leaders. That's
isn't,
it.
and Book isn't. Yeah. They're not leaders.
So I'm pretty excited. So I told you guys this story about a year ago. I was at the golf tournament in Charlotte at Wachovia, or whatever it's called now. And we kind of lost my dad.
Yeah, remember
right?
that story?
We just couldn't find him. For I had to
remember
go to security. We couldn't find him, right?
Yeah.
So my dad came in town to go to the Open. So my dad's here, right? I got him an air tag. So I just got word that he's home now.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, "What's this for?" I'm like, "Well, Dad, if I'm at the Open, I'll be able to find you." Because I didn't want him to think
covered
that,
it up.
I didn't want him to think that I think he's old. Well, he's 81, but I'm like, you got to take care of your, I got like we need one on you. An air tag,
Where'd he go? I don't put the air tag.
But
on.
the ad tag's great, man. You just kind of put it in you look at my location or find my phone kind of thing, and then there's a little picture of him. And right now I know he's home, so he went for But yesterday I saw him when he was on 17. I saw him when he was on 16.
Yeah,
it's great technology.
We watched him.
I know a lot of parents out there do it with their kids, but anyway, hey, we've been doing this contest for since late August, called our Twin Peaks Fantastic Sweepstakes, and we teamed up with, of course, Twin Peaks and Coors Light and Blue Moon, and all you had to do is text Peaks to 59925. And the reason why I bring this up, because a lot of people think there's these contests and we don't actually give away this stuff. So this contest included a Blackstone griddle, a Traeger grill, an outdoor pizza oven, a cornhole set, a mini projector, a beer pong, party pong table, a cooler, a $250 gift card, 6 cases of Cocoa 5, and what now is a collector's item, the Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B Wild Gear tumblers from our old station. So I will tell you this. So because many of you that listen to us on a regular basis, I'm pissed off at you because you may have been one of the winners. I texted 7 people.
Wow.
7. And said, hey, this is Roc. You won our Twin Peaks Fantastic. This isn't a joke. Text me back. Not one person of the 7 until our recipient, Rob Drake, who won. He is here at Twin Peaks. So, unfortunately, after we found out who he was,
Now we're not going to give it to him.
Manuch put up a fight because he found out that he is from what, Saguaro?
Saguaro
Or
High
something
School,
like
yeah,
that?
Saguaro.
Chaparral, Saguaro, they're all the same.
Saguaro. Oh, Saguaro's much different than Chaparral.
How's it any different? They're good
they're
athletes come out of Chaparral.
Well, yeah, they're still. Yeah, I mean, just but Saguaro's kind of dominated, and Shap's been down the last
So
several
I mean, you always talk about McClintock dominated. He didn't dominate?
Well, we always dominate. That made any difference.
Did Tempe dominate McClintock?
No.
Because isn't that where New Heisel went?
New Heisel was McClintock.
Oh. Who went to Tempe?
The only guy I can think of as any, I'm going way back, Fred Mortensen, many years ago.
Fred Mortensen?
Yeah, quarterback for ASU one time, many years ago. Yeah, McClintock dominates the football side of things.
Jax wasn't even alive when Fred Mortensen was playing quarterback.
No, that was the mid-'70s when he was over there. He and Danny
So
Cush.
Rob Drake's our winner. He's not the American umpire that you may have known. He was an umpire for many years, but number 8 out there, but no. So he's got all the stuff. We're going to take a picture after we're done here. It's all here. I just couldn't wait. I mean, I wish we could have got rid of this stuff months ago because I couldn't park in my garage. So now I can unload it to Rob, and he is set. So we're pretty excited about that. What's on tap? There's nothing local on tonight, courtesy of our Roc and Manuch Amber, which is poured by Dos Equis. Tomorrow, though, Jazz are in town to take on the Suns. That'll be on 8 o'clock on Arizona Sports 98.7. A busy day in college basketball on Saturday, though. Grand Canyon is at California Baptist. That's on ESPN+. Nuggets, Suns, so we got a back-to-back.
Yep.
Arizona Sports at 7, and then Texas Tech is at Arizona. That's on national television, ESPN, 8 o'clock. And then Sunday, ASU basketball is at Oklahoma State. That'll be noon.
On ESPN Plus.
Yes, and Arizona Sports 98.7. So all these girls are they for our picture?
Maybe.
We're at Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Who knows? For sure. Hey, tomorrow we'll be at Wright Toyota. Jackson and I will be carrying the show for you. Catch up with Sean Salisbury, the play-by-play voice for the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Kevin Rowe for a little over and under. So our sports handicapper, Scott Sprites. Rick Horrell, also from Nolans. And also Mark May, Super Bowl champ, all mañana. It won't be at Wright Toyota. We'll be talking to him from Wright Toyota.
So I'm wondering, this picture, this was supposed to be for us because it's not going on right now. So Rob, sorry about that, buddy, but we may have got the Heisman when it comes to our picture, so that's quite all right. But hopefully we can scrounge a couple of people to kind of help us with that. But if you missed anything today, go to rockandmanuch.com. With Jim Haslett on, with Mike Mayock on, got their predictions for the big game. Again, we'll be out there at the Weekapaw Resort on Sunday. Doors open at 2. If you need more information at Roc and Manuch.
50 seconds.
If you're not going to come out, join us. There's 5 Twin Peaks locations to watch the Super Bowl at as well. So you have a lot of good opportunities to enjoy this big game and watch the Eagles win by 8.
By 8, huh?
That's my prediction.
That's
8.
your prick.
30
seconds.
to 22. I don't know how they're getting to 22, but for some reason I just saw it in a dream last night.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and A.J. Brown, excuse me, is the MVP.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
We'll mark that down.
Yeah.
So for our friends here at Twin Peaks, and I got some buddies from Ohio. You here? Good old Sigma Chi, some fraternity brothers showed up.
Wow.
How cool is that?
Ohio,
Greg Smolin, Dave Bird.
All right.